Howdy, folks. Welcome to Adventures in Alberon, Courts of Everest. I am Joe Treff, your GM this evening and most, and joining me are my friends Tina, Kara, and Vincent.
Just us.
Just these folks. We also do have Matthew with us, though he did lose a contact literally 20 seconds before our stream started.
It's the other one this time.
Yeah, it's the one that was not last night. You may, if you joined us last night, you will know. Matthew lost contacts.
So I get to live my best Cheshire life and take up the entire side.
That's very nice. We are missing Hannah and Alana, who are both under the weather this evening, and they are resting up. Yes, please feel better. Hopefully in time for the very many games that we have coming up this weekend. Speaking of which, I do have a couple of announcements before we get into our Courts of Everest game. I got into the Tense Moon music a little too early, so I'm going to put us into just a nice little...
Bring that back to the recap.
Yeah, I'll just put us in our Everest theme song here. Okay. A couple of announcements. First, your support makes everything that we do here a little bit fancier and a little bit more possible. Thank you for subscribing here on YouTube. We also have a Patreon, some behind-the-scenes content as well, at Alberon RPG on those, on YouTube, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, all are at Alberon RPG. Excuse me. We are going to be playing Ace of Roses, the second season of Olive's original dating game show that is played in the Starfinder system somehow. And you can actually see the first session up on YouTube at Alberon RPG. Tomorrow we are playing session 2 live, I believe at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Twitch. We are then on Sunday going to be playing Fallout Black Heart of Texas, the third session. This is the third in probably 4 sessions that are going to be taking place, telling an original story in the Texas hellscape. It is part of the Fallout universe, and you can join us right here for that. Right after that, if you are a Patreon subscriber, you will be able to see we are going to be playing session 0 of Iron and Thorns, the second... Would this be the second anthology, or is the whole thing an anthology?
Second season.
Second season of an anthology run in the Cypher system. Kara is going to be running this, created and helmed by Kara. I'm going to be playing, Matt's going to be playing, Vincent, Hannah, Sable?
Are
Okay.
you playing?
For what?
I don't think Matt's
Matt's not playing. Never mind.
I
Matt's
thought we were
not
talking
gonna
about
be there.
Fallout still.
No. We have so many. We're literally playing 5 sessions back to back to back this week. So tons of cool stuff. Thank you for joining us for that and for making it possible with all of your support.
Change everything.
Yeah. After that, the only other announcement that I have is for music and different sound effects. We have Monument Studios in addition to Sirenscape. And that is all the announcements that I have for this week. It is time for this week's session of Courts of Everest.
Oh, you're going to say was.
And to you, Kara, for the recap.
Wandering Hearts. When last we played, our coach rattled over uneven ground, grinding to a halt as shadows coiled up from the ground. The wind shifted, and with it came a presence. Tall as the trees, dark as the space between stars. A shadow giant, stepping from the world beyond. Ori immediately brought the horses to a halt, jumping out from his... leaping, I suppose, from his location at the helm?
That's being generous, yeah.
I am giving you this.
I know.
I gave you networking the last time.
Yeah, no, this is
Take
good.
it.
I am taking it. I'm thank you.
Leaping from his seat, helming the coach, jumping to the top, began firing his arrows into the darkness, distracting the giant during the first salvo of our fight. Alina leapt from the carriage as well, from her seat next to Ori, sliding in front of the giant, caught off balance by this sudden stop. Cheshire, ever unhurried, leaned from the coach, weaving a thread of slow, bending time itself to dull the monster's strike. Billy flared in answer, calling forth fire and thunder from her blade as she leapt forward to distract the giant from her friend laying on the ground, who then called upon something bright, an explosion of radiance that burned 3 shadows to nothing. Beside her, Valus moved his righteous blade like the wind, guiding Minka aside before summoning the sun itself, his power lancing through 6 of the writhing shades in a single stroke. The night shuddered, and then the radiant beacon arrived on the horizon. But after we had dispatched everyone.
Most everyone.
He touched down in front of the brightly glowing Minka, a beacon in her own right in the night. We followed the beacon across the fields, leading us towards the Divine Court, and at its gates another waited, the fallen star, Tiberius Aetherglass. His gaze fell not upon the warriors, the spellcasters, but on Minka herself. We requested their assistance in reaching the Dome of Alandar, but a price is to be paid for aid. A creature from beyond the stars, a star spawn, lurks in the land to the north, the star-burnt pastures. If it is slain, they will provide us guidance in the form of a rough but worthy guide. There was more. Carberius drew Minka aside. He spoke of her lineage, the Enclave of Light, and of Quarvalastis, the Mete's Shard, a name lost to most, but one that held weight amongst those who knew the stories. The eclipse is fading, and he seeks aid in breaking it further, so that they can reach their homeland. News that is disturbing to us. They returned to the rest of us, who had just been kind of eating and hanging out. Ori used the bathroom a little bit. Don't worry about it. It wasn't weird. No.
Sometimes you gotta go.
And Tiberius brought forth a crystal, through which Minka was able to glimpse the past life of her mother, Lot, moving through times and battles across lands both fair and forsaken. In the final vision, her mother stood in a darkened chamber, face to face with Corvalistis, a shard gleaming at her chest and up into the ceiling. Meanwhile, Valus sought insight and spoke with Narcadian, the beacon. He said, "Follow the darkness and the broken bodies. There are things in these lands that should not be disturbed. Things like Doxelgrash, the imperial fang of Brethren, a dragon, once slain, returned as a shadow. The choice was made, the coach carried us forward to battle to destiny. And rocks. As always, we are always ever distracted by rocks and holes in the ground. Yep. We love our shinies. Thankfully, we stayed on task, on mission, and further moved into the tree lines and into a copse of trees that seemed strange, and surely enough, upon turning around, we were greeted by a most fearsome sight. Ourselves. And that is where we begin our session.
And in this moment, it was particularly you, Ori, who looked off to the side and between the space of 2 trees, and you can see in the darkness of this space, in this almost impossibly dark forest, you can see the mirror of the cart and you looking back. And in this moment, can you make a wisdom saving throw?
Oh, fuck. Is this against being charmed?
This is not.
Is this against a spell cast by a creature within 5 feet of me?
You gotta ask.
Wisdom save?
Wisdom save.
Nice! 22!
With a 22, you look and it looks back, and in this moment, you feel a pull, as if you long to switch places with this reflection or this other. You're not quite sure what you're looking at, but in this moment, as you manage to resist this pull, you're sure that it is something sentient and something real. And in that moment, Ori, for you, you see another figure, and you look intending to see another member of your party reflected back, but you don't. You see your sister. And in this cart, in this carriage, you can see past yourself in the reflection of the window, the features, muddled though they are, and in darkness, really hard to make out detail. You can't make out emotion. You just see the familiar figure. Now, because Alina is not with us, who is driving this cart? Okay, Valis, you were driving this cart. Alina had slowed this. Are you stopping, or are you just charging forward into the tree?
I guess I will continue to slow it and open the door to the...
I thought we
Question.
had stopped.
Okay, so you slow
We
the
did stop.
cart. You roll the cart to a stop.
The figure that I saw, did it look like my sister from when we scryed or from earlier?
It looked like your sister as you picture her in your mind.
Okay.
The way that when you think about your sister, it might be maybe a more generalized version, maybe a garment that they favor that you like really picture them in more often than others.
But that tells me that it was not actually her.
You don't know.
Well, based on what
Probably.
Ori is aware of.
Valis,
But
you
still,
slow the
stop the
cart to
cart!
a
Stop the cart!
And you open the door.
Something weird is happening.
Weird how?
Where? So having stopped the cart now, where is there? I'm gonna get out of the cart
Okay.
and look around for this reflection and stuff. See
You
what the
pop
fuck is
out of the
going
cart.
on.
And as you do, you can feel the air here a little cooler than it was when you last left the halls of the Divine Court. You can kind of look through the trees and you can see the terrain looks different too. You are in a circle of these birch trees that have grown across the space and a few elms as well. But through the trees in different places, you see a much darker land beyond.
Do I see the stars? The star shard.
Make a perception check.
Divine sense.
Okay. You cast out Divine Sense, and in this moment, you don't ping anything.
I believe it's a 19, but let me see.
Okay.
Sorry, 18.
Okay. With an 18, you look around, you see these individuals in this cart. There might be at least one or two more, but you can't really make out their features. They are swathed in shadows.
No,
Yeah,
sorry.
Bill?
I was asking if I could see the star shard from of the tower.
And with that check, if you look behind you, in the canopy that is taken up in this circle, you can't. You imagine it probably still is there, as you can see like bits and glints of light, but you can't directly observe it.
Readying my crossbow
Okay.
because that tells me that the star spawn might be by.
Billy like pokes her head out of the carriage and is just like, "Why are we stopped?" Oh,
Something's here.
I can see that. And from our experience with a mirror in the past, does this have any like similarity and resonance with the mirror in the Charred Forest?
So are you examining this?
Yes.
And you're trying to think about it magically.
Yes.
So first, as you turn and you
Wait.
look and you regard this cart, you see yourself peering back out. The eyes a little bit more kind of glazed. You can't quite see into them, but can you make a wisdom saving throw, please?
Sure.
And then you can make an arcana check.
Seeing Billy
Do
potentially
you have anything for wisdom?
suffering
get-
from
you
a
get plus
similar
four.
effect that I felt of intense longing.
You have no idea.
22.
With a 22, you resist this pull for a moment. And for you, Billy, this kind of sets you on edge. This feels like a trap. And as you kind of resist this pull, you get the sense that there is something looking back, maybe not malevolent, but curious.
Also bad.
Do you guys see anything?
Yes.
That's a 17 for Arcana.
Okay. And with the 17, you are looking through these trees, but you are not looking between them. You are looking into a space beyond. And as you look and kind of regard this, you see the Valis that is up on this mirror image of a stagecoach kind of lash the horses, and the carriage kind of rolls off and out of sight. You look and it doesn't follow between the other trees, though you do see darkness. Ori, what was your perception check?
For the star shard,
Yes.
it was an 18.
With an 18, you do catch glimpses of movement, just passing non-congruously between the trees. As the cart moves, it seems to be circling you, though not continuously.
Like,
so it's like appearing between like here or like over
yeah,
there.
like
It'll
whoosh,
pass between two trees
whoosh.
here, then two trees over there, then
Still
going in a
the
different
same-
direction.
Okay, so different directions. So potentially multiple.
You're seeing, but you're with that perception check, you're not even really seeing the cart. You're just catching the shadows of movement in the periphery of your vision. It's like feeling like your cat is running underfoot and you turn and you don't see it.
Billy, like, still like trying to keep an eye on the cart, like reaches back and tries to like tap Cheshire.
Readying my crossbow.
Okay, you
Here.
ready it again.
You're good at like different planes and things vanishing. What do you think of that?
Cheshire looks.
Make a wisdom saving throw.
So the mirror is
Plus
it
4 from
now
Valis.
all around, or is it still just that one
Might
spot
be
between the
mirror.
trees that we saw the reflection?
Make a flat, or I would say make an arcana
Dirty
check.
20.
With a dirty 20, as you look, Cheshire, there's a couple things that you see.
16.
16. Hard to tell, Ori. You don't have a ton of training in this. There's something going on, and there's something beyond normal. You're not looking at like an illusion or somebody teleporting. You're looking into perhaps other worlds
Sorry.
or dimensions.
Okay, I'm trying to visualize it.
Sure.
So, is it basically like there's like reflections around this circle?
It isn't a
of trees?
reflection. It is like you are looking in and you are seeing a different clearing.
Okay.
The clearing on the other side is almost a reflection, but where there is plants in one, there are stones in another. And when there might be a grass-covered hill, there is just a rocky outcrop. And you are seeing something a little bit different, but very similar.
Hmm.
And as you look into the other place, I would say now you're recognizing each one of these spaces, you are looking into that same space, but from different angles. And so in the moment, you're not really sure if you are in the parallel dimension or if you are back in the material plane. For you, Cheshire, with the 20,
The subsequent Arcana check was 31.
with the 31, you know that you're on the material plane. But you are in a precarious position.
Mhm.
You lie on the edge between a demiplane that is very much designed to be a trap,
Oh.
and there is something that inhabitates it. You've heard of creatures called doppelgangers before.
Mhm.
These seem to be a little bit of a darker variant of them. And as you look into this shadowy place, they probably have some properties in common with creatures that you fought in the past. You, Billy, and Ori have all looked and beholded this sort of image and not been teleported across. Valis, as the rest of your allies kind of look, you turn, and for just a moment as you look ahead, you see head on this cart approaching, and you look right into your own eyes. Make a wisdom
Damn.
saving throw, Valis.
Yeah, we're sitting in the trap. You're
While
not
he
gonna avoid
does
it.
that, do I see a way out of where we are?
Goodbye, dice.
Damn.
Here,
That's
quick,
crazy.
It's been doing good.
Ooh, it's a very good dice.
It does good when I hand it off to people, and
Okay.
then it's gonna do bad when it comes back.
Mm-hmm.
25.
You're
Nice.
And in this moment,
Thank you.
right ahead,
Safe with you.
Valis, you see the cart approaching you. You see it about to reach the tree line. And in this moment, as the light that you all kind of emit from your various ambient sources hits the faces of these individuals, you are not looking at yourself. You're looking at this face that is almost featureless, save these blank black eyes, and this almost like skin that seems hollow somehow, like it is just darkness cast across a light form. And as you look upon it, you feel yourself pulled, but you are too strong for this magic, and you resist.
Can I moonbeam it?
No.
I will say, because you succeeded so high, in that moment, the cart strikes the space between the trees, and it is like all these different sort of angular views of the same parallel clearing are pulled, like a single ribbon of mirror that just, and this cart seems to just pull and hit it and just pull this dimension away. And you can see now opening up around you, almost like a ring is slid away, the regular forest around. And Valis, with your success, there is nobody else to be trapped in this mirror.
Oh,
So does it feel
Onward.
like
You
the
see
presence
now.
is gone?
Behind you, the shard gleaming between this sort of leaves of these very normal birch trees. There's no shadows clinging to these sort of material here. And you have all succeeded in the ring of trees.
I think we're safe.
Onward!
So did I feel pull that something was trying to switch places with me?
Yes, you did.
All right, I'm gonna look to the group
Drive.
and I'm gonna point at Ori and say, "What's my name?"
Phallus.
Yeah!
I'm gonna get back into the cart and
I'm just gonna question the other people because I'm not sure if anyone else got switched.
Okay. So Minka looks very anxious, but says Minka. Alina answers in the affirmative. They're a little
Well, I'm gonna ask
sleepy.
them all different questions
Oh,
that
okay,
I would
okay,
only
sure.
expect they to know.
So what are you asking of Billy? Billy's another person still who kind of like leaned out of the actual cart.
I'll point to Alina and say, "What's her name?"
Alina.
And then I'll point to Cheshire and say,
What's yours?
"What's his name?"
it's Cheshire. She wouldn't get trapped by that. If I'm here, then she's here.
Chico.
That's Cheshire, right?
Yeah, that's Cheshire.
We'll look at Minka.
His government name is Chico.
And I'll ask, what's your mom's name?
Oh dear. And she like talks about how until very recently she knew her as Lot, but now she thinks it's Teshialata, and he like goes off on this whole thing and like gets a little bit blue in the face, and you're pretty confident it's
And I'll
Minka.
interrupt, and I'll look at Alina and say, "Who do you serve?"
She looks.
Why did you ask that? No!
My one weakness!
Yeah!
Let me tell you about Sir Nunos. Just immediately kind of, I would say a little bit less enthusiastic than maybe in the past, but certainly seems to be Alina.
With a sigh of relief.
And the horses begin to move.
I would probably sit up front after that.
Okay. You
Now
keep the
that-
crossbow
yeah.
ready. You've already readied it twice.
Yeah,
You're not going to
extra
ready it a third time.
I don't know, I might.
For you, Valis, you are joined by Ori on the front of the cart, and you yaw these horses, and you begin to make your way through.
Twa
You
these
pass
horses.
between these two mundane trees with no further issue. And Valis, can you roll a D100, please?
Damn. That was weird as fuck. I bet those two know more about it than we do.
82.
Okay.
The mirrors?
Everything.
Sorry for the line of questioning. I felt like something tried to switch places with me.
82.
Yes, I think it did, but I think...
It switched.
No, I mean, I think it did try to. I felt something too, but I think your line of questioning wouldn't necessarily work because it had knowledge of things that something shouldn't have.
Oh, are you saying that?
Say more words.
Are you saying that it may know things that the thing that it switched with may know? So, any one of us could be not one of us?
I think the questions probably work. I feel safe enough, but
That sounds like something
It was-
a doppelganger would say.
more
He's
like
got like a knife at your side.
a vague idea of things.
Good caution, Billy.
It shouldn't know.
Cheshire is playing at sleeping on her bench that she's taking up.
Okay. No problem. For all of you, you continue to pass on, and Valis, as you guide the cart, you can see the ground becomes a little bit more grass covered. You see like this white, almost bleached grass get a little bit thicker. There are still trees here, but they kind of give away. And for the first time, Valis, you begin to see signs of other people. You can see there are footprints off on the side of the road. There are places where you can actually see very vividly, because just off the path that you are taking, no more than 50 feet, there is the remains of like a fire. One that was almost certainly purposefully started in like a sort of clearing. Valis, make a survival check.
wonder
Can
what
I
it is.
assist as I'm sitting there?
Sure.
Um,
How are you assisting?
I guess if we're seeing tracks and stuff, I'd try to like help identify
Okay, make
like,
that check
where
advantage.
where they're kind of those people would have headed if it's like an active fire.
16.
Ori's keen eye allows you to sort of track that you're heading kind of in the direction that they may have headed, though the tracks are not super recent. You're not really finding great evidence of where they might be. And you suspect that there may be more signs that you're missing, but you continue along and you don't lose sight of this kind of sign of activity. You see like signs of grass that has been stomped down, and I would say as you get maybe like another half hour in, it does become a little bit fresher.
I let the group know that we seem to be on the trail of some people. Could be the hunters that we were told that are trying to make a name for themselves out here.
That would track.
No, we're tracking.
And in this moment too, as you're driving around, for you especially, Cheshire, as you play it sleeping, you're taking up like the entire bench on one side, and so you're sort of across Alina and Minka, and Alina too is sleeping, and they begin to sleep a little bit more restlessly. It's not a bad dream. You're not hearing like groaning or the sounds of fear. You're really kind of, you hear like a little giggle. There's almost excitement. And as you kind of talk about the fact that you may be finding some hunters, maybe there is some truth to that. You travel on for another half hour, and at about the hour mark, and I would say just for timekeeping references, it's getting close to about 2:30 in the morning. You come upon an area where there is the sort of collapsed hulk of what at one point was probably an animal that you can see very cleanly fabricated. There is just kind of bones, some elements of gristle still left that tells you that this is not super old. And is there anything that you want to do with that, or you just keep passing right on by?
What is the creature that the carcass is?
Yeah, can we identify the creature?
I'll make a nature check.
Do I get my thing?
Oh boy. Yeah, I think you do. This is sort of within the
It wasn't
range.
as good, but it was still good because that's a 21.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up my Divine Court local flora and fauna document.
Ooh. Ooh. Say more. Mushrooms? All of the mushrooms. Any moonwort?
So when
Oh, look, field of moonwort.
weird thing about Everest. Not a whole lot of that going around. But
Damn.
what you do note as you look at this creature, the sort of teeth are still left. There's nothing that has been taken in terms of like trophies, and the teeth are like flat. They are not sharp incisors like a predator. This seems to be sort of like almost...
Herbivore?
Huh?
Some sort of herbivore?
Yeah, an herbivore, certainly. It has similar characteristics to a cow, though a little bit broader and a little bit closer to the ground. You're not familiar with this creature specifically.
We've seen, or maybe I'm thinking of Starfinder, but haven't we seen very, like, Brahmin, I think, like creatures that you described before?
You guys have seen Onkonks, that's in Dominion, and they're really like native to the
Right,
mountain
those are
ranges
like
there.
the woolly guys.
Yeah.
How big
I
is this
remember
thing?
This creature, like when it was standing, probably stood close to like 5 feet tall. Not super huge, but certainly
So
like a field animal.
So the wounds suggest that it was like a predatory attack, not
You don't
like
s-
hunters or anything.
There is no wounds.
Oh.
You cleanly fabricated means with a knife, with almost scalpel-like precision,
Oh,
somebody has
I'm
cut away
sorry.
the hides.
I thought with the gristle and stuff that it was more like grizzly.
No, you're just seeing like the
okay.
attachment pieces that are
Gotcha.
left
So
behind along the
hunters.
spine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Billy pokes her head out. From Billy's time with the the cult.
The cult?
Thornholm. Thank you. There's a different revelry of the thorn. I'm sorry, Alina. I believe. It's your new nose.
Oh damn! You gotta go to reform school.
Suddenly the trees shift
We're
and
gonna
you
send
see
me to
the
summer camp. God damn it.
after school for you, Billy.
Anyway, from that and Billy's time in like the farming area.
Yeah.
Does Billy glean any information as to what?
Make a nature check.
Hunters have been here.
Says Ori out loud.
Thank you. 17.
That makes sense. We're
And with
tracking
the
some
17,
hunters.
yeah, it seems like hunters have been here. You're not immediately familiar with this creature. It seems to be some kind of an herbivore. It has like a weird sort of throat structure, but outside of that, hard to really tell what it is.
That
It's
thing's ugly as fuck.
yeah,
Any
a
good
lot of
leftovers?
Sorry?
Any good leftovers?
No. Unless you want some herbivore teeth, which you can take, or some bones, you can do that.
Nah,
But
Could
this
make a good stock.
somebody has done a very good job cleaning this up.
They're
With
pretty
a 17,
good.
I would say you note that in the bone structure, there are wound marks, but they are not teeth. There is a clean sort of mark in one of the ribs, and the rib is cleanly cracked around, suggesting high impact, probably an arrow. And so hunters certainly makes sense. Or what Ori kind of mumbles out. That tracks.
Onward.
Okay. You pass on by, and you can
We
feel...
continue to follow, like, try to follow them.
Oh,
catch
okay.
up with them.
Sure. No problem. So, Vincent, for me, make a survival check as you try to track these tracks.
Can I assist? Continue? Can I
Yeah,
continue
yeah.
to
Make a,
assist?
make a check.
Is your
advantage.
survival higher?
Are the hunters hunting the same thing we're hunting?
+3.
Who's the hunter?
I don't know.
Can you do it and I'll help?
Sure.
I'm not really that great at tracking. Ori, what does your elf eyes see?
Says the other elf.
Oh, sorry, I don't know why I rolled that. Yeah.
Oh,
Bro, what are your elf eyes see?
I'm gonna lag.
16.
16.
Excuse you.
With 16, you follow the tracks, and it's hard. It takes you a little bit longer than it might take other people. Your member of the wild hunt is currently sleeping, and that would probably be helpful in this circumstance. But it does take you an additional half an hour to kind of follow these tracks and really make your way through terrain that is increasingly more difficult. But Ori, with your keen eye and your senses that are really attuned to finding hidden things, you begin to note that off in the sort of underbrush that is here, where many of the leaves have fallen away, there are snares that have been set. And you begin to see here and there more and more signs of active hunting activity. And before too long, you hear barely, with your passive perception, voices.
they're getting close. I can hear them.
Should we say hello?
You
Yes,
guys
but
remember we're running out of time, right?
Ori, the sound stopped.
Hunters of Sir Nunos!
I guess we're doing it this way then.
Get your flute
You
out.
realize that by being this loud, you're also alerting anything else around. Like,
It would save us the time of finding it if
Billy
it finds
pokes
us
her
first.
head out.
Ori, why don't you try the flute?
Are you saying anything else?
We have one of your own with us, and...
On purpose, she's a friend.
You shout this. Make a persuasion
Billy.
check. Not an advantage.
she's
Oh,
totally
no.
not being held captive.
Natural one.
Oh my god.
For a total of... Damn, I'm actually good at persuasion, too. 9.
Is there anything anybody's doing to
We
help?
just came from Petrichor, and we heard you guys are here.
Can I try to say something in Thieves Can't?
No.
You could try.
I like to add, just
Like,
saying
it's cool, we're good, we're good.
that the people at the... Where were we at? The Divine Court said that you were here
Oh,
and also
yeah.
hunting Quarry.
Okay, so you add that. Are you trying to use Thieves' Camp?
I saved some of Core's
seems
sausage.
like the consensus was no.
Okay. So you shout about Cora's sausage. You shout about the fact that the Divine Court had mentioned that they were here. I would say with that, very hesitantly, you can see there is a shift happening, and it's hard for you to imagine how you couldn't see this before. They are wearing a beautiful cloak of almost mosses and leaves that have been intricately worked together. But here in the starburnt pastures where the trees and the grass and the plant life has all been bleached white, it really stands out. It's bright green, even in the darkness. But you can see there is stepping and separating away from the space a satyr. You do see they have a little bit of blonde hair. They have broad shoulders. They also have sort of a belly. But they do hold a longbow. It is currently knocked, and you can sense, those of you with a keen eye for magic, there is an arcane energy to the arrow. But they just poke their head out. They don't look trusting at you, Valis.
I raise my hand up and say, "We bid you no violence."
What's up?
They look at you, they look at Billy, and they just say, "You all stay where you are, okay? There are at least 10 of us. We outnumber you 2 to 1.
Is that true?
Make an insight check." They look
Ear
over
for
at
deceit.
you,
Or
Valis,
ear for-
and they
yeah,
say,
ear for deceit.
"Who do you know from the Divine Court?"
We were just there and spoke to Narcadian and Tiberius. We are out here hunting the Star Spawn on their behalf. And we're told that you are also out hunting, and we just wanted to say hello as we came across your
Just 2 groups
Query.
of hunters passing in the night.
From somewhere off in the trees, you hear this voice that kind of whispers underneath, and you hear them say, "Ask them about our person." And this person goes, "Just a second. You said you had one of ours."
Yes,
Ask about
She's-
the star spawn.
another follower of Sir Nunos.
Not one of your...
Not one of your group, but
Also,
another.
I'm part of it.
Sorry, go ahead.
They look at you, Billy, now. You say, "I'm part of it," and you kind of shove Alice out of the way. And they look over at you and they squint and they say, "What do you mean you're part of it?"
I'm Billy. Alina's in the cart.
They have no idea.
Have you not been to Thornholm?
No, but you can see, as you say Thornholm, that rings a bell. And they look and they get a little bit higher up out of their cover, and they say, "You're from Thornholm."
Yes. Aren't you?
No.
We're told hunters trying to prove themselves for the wild hunter out here. Is that not you?
That's us.
Oh, hey. Alina. Oh, she's sleeping.
You say that, and it's unfortunate for sure. That would make this process way easier.
It really would.
But they
Oh,
take
thank
a
you.
step out from behind this tree. They look around, and you can see certainly, like, they're checking. There is more than just them here for sure, though you're not sure how many, Ori. But they get a little bit closer, and they say, "Prove it. Prove you're for Thornholm."
And Cheshire's gonna launch into this long story about Core and the cage of meat and
Make a
details,
persuasion
like-
check. You've spent enough time around Thornholm folk, especially recently.
Do you
Um,
want to drink off?
So you begin to talk about Kor and Kor's meat cage and this old satyr who is like a hunt master and the furbolgs and all the pixies, and you begin to really count off the details, and then you say a drink off. Do you want a drink off? And you can hear that same voice, though it now is coming from like the other side of you. And I would say, Ori, you with your passive perception see for the first time, kind of separating out from the woods, the source of this voice, as they say,
Chester's
Oh.
like really hamming it up.
Yeah.
Like, full on fairy tale.
they walk
almost.
over kind of to you, Billy. It's an owl bear. It is a full-sized 6'10" owl bear who walks over and says, "Yeah, no, they're from Thornholm." And as they do, they like point at you with this one feather off of their hand, and the feather becomes a finger, and the hand just becomes this very like gray-skinned half-orc hand. And standing in front of you is a half-orc. You can see they are still pretty tall, probably about 6'8". They have long chestnut brown hair that is drawn back into a bun that is clasped with these wooden rings. You can see they have wooden rings on their fingers that are inscribed with several orc words. Having seen Minka wild shape before, you have just seen somebody utilize that skill as well. But they come up to you and they say, Masarai Broke Tree, good to meet you. And they send out an orc hand. They shake it.
Tiny hand goes out.
Sure. They like their fingers go all the way around your hand. They shake it wholeheartedly. You could see the person who is talking, the satyr, they just kind of sigh and they go, Masarai, I wasn't done. And he steps out and you hear shifting coming off. And probably the quietest person, you can see they were wearing a robe over a very unusual looking kind of black garment underneath. A human who also quite broad of shoulder and kind of had melded themselves into the ground. It has this like layer of leaves across them. They just separate up across. There is nobody else. There is just the three of them. And this seems to be the remaining hunters from this group. But they all kind of close in and you meet with this group. Billy, what are you saying?
Billy hops out of the coach at this point.
Okay.
Just the three of you?
Master Eye looks over and the satyr steps up and they seem to be the leader of this group and they say, just the three now. There were more of us, but it's dangerous out here. And not everybody is as skilled as we are.
No, we know that's why we're here as well, in a larger group. What happened to the rest of them?
They fell. And fortunately for us, we have Masarai to bring them back to a safer place. But not everybody made it.
Do you need assistance?
They look around and Masarai immediately goes, yes, very much, we need assistance. But the satyr says, no. Yes, we would like assistance, but we are trying to earn Sir Nunes' approval.
You're
And
going to die.
he looks at you and he holds up this arrow and you can see there is like magical energy that brims off of it. There is like a fire nature to this. And they say, I wouldn't be so sure. We've been out here for weeks and we'll be out here for more than that.
Right.
What do you hunt out here? Is there anything in particular?
What is your quarry?
We have no quarry in particular, but we seek the hunt itself. We search for the drums.
Ask them about the star spot.
Getting to that!
Well, if they don't know, then...
Well, one of us has heard
been
the
out here for
horn.
weeks.
And if you're searching for the drums, I wish you luck. But Sir Nunos also says that we should take advantage of every opportunity.
And at that, you actually hear like movement and from the back of the cart. I don't like taking other people's characters, but built this whole thing for Alina and Hannah's not here, so unfortunate. Alina would step out and say, we can help them. I think this is something that I can do. I can't ask all of you to do this, but maybe we could spare just a little bit of time.
Of course.
The window is
Do the
closing
thing.
for us getting
Do the thing.
to hunt the star
To
spawn,
do
right?
the thing.
You have two
The
and a half
quarry
more
could be the
hours
same.
tonight.
You are seeking the hunt.
You can see the hunters all nod.
How would you like to assist us in ours?
Make a persuasion check.
Can I help?
You don't need to unless you
Oh,
want me to
never
do
mind.
it. That is going to... Hold on, I have to do math for this one. That's going to be a 33.
Okay. So at that, Masarai would kind of like almost seems to switch sides. They join like you and Valis over on this side. And Masarai just goes, oh, that would be so cool. Come on. Can't we do that? Come on, Darendel. And the satyr just sighs. And they go, what are you hunting?
The star spawn.
Spawn!
Apparently a vicious creature from beyond that's terrorizing these lands, and we've been tasked with hunting it and bringing it to its end.
The star spawn you can't go after.
Well, that's what we've been tasked to do, so we are.
Why not?
Even the least of them are incredibly dangerous.
Right.
The three
That's-
of us wouldn't stand a chance
Right.
against even
Sad.
one joy thief,
Yes.
and there are much worse than that.
Billy just gestures back at Alina. She's been blessed by her and the hunter. I think we're good.
you look over at Alina, and sure enough, like Alina wearing this garment that is the waistcoat of the Nightmare Rider. The leaves that kind of drape off of this and the card itself, this shifting autumnal kind of sense. And Alina in this moment is going to look at you, Billy, and she's going to go, Billy, can I talk to you for just 1 minute?
Nope.
Billy?
Fine.
She just tugs you off to the side. You make your way over, like around to the other side of the cart, and Alina is going to like look to the left, look to the right, and then go, I think I can open the hunt for these people. I think I can do it right now.
What is that? Do you need to go?
The
What does that
bathroom?
mean?
Well, I think it would mean that we would all have to fight. But it would have to be all of us or none of us. We can't leave anybody behind.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
For both of all the rest of you, Billy and Alina like lean out from the side of the cart and kind of look at all of you. And then Alina kind of leans back in and goes, but what about the rest of them?
We just
Can I
don't tell them.
hear all of this?
Make a perception check. You very well might. You get a perception check for this only because of the skill sets that you have access to.
30.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You hear this for sure.
We have a time limit. Our quarry is the star spawn.
Can he hear us?
Yes.
It will only take a half an hour.
That's what you say.
They'll help us with our star spawn problem.
The orc looks at you, Ori, and goes, we will help you with your star spawn problem. And the satyr says, wait, we haven't agreed to anything yet. They're
Ori.
incredibly dangerous.
We'll find the star spawn.
And besides, if we just run around here shouting enough, it'll find us.
You could come out and talk like, normal people.
I
Include
can't
people
move.
in the conversation. But no, we have to get into this stupid shouting match. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Makes for better storytelling later.
No, it does not.
Okay.
So what are you doing?
I'm not gonna
So,
want to do that if it's gonna potentially stop us from getting to the star spawn on time.
we don't know if it's gonna stop us from getting to the star spawn on time.
But like the clock is ticking.
The clock is always ticking,
It's true.
and we should
As-
help others as we can.
Yes. We should help others as we can.
And if this star spawn is truly as dangerous as they say, we might want some extra fight.
This
Cheshire,
seems
what do you
important.
think?
Back to
Ori, this seems important to Alina.
And Alina's kind of like wandering at the periphery of like where you were all talking, seeming to almost like listen between the trees and out and into the woods for something.
Cheshire, what do you think?
Ori's. I'm not gonna say anything. Just gonna nod,
Okay.
thinking back to all of the times
Whatever.
that Craigslist mixed connections have happened.
This is a potential disconnection.
Because of prioritizing.
Oh boy. Okay. That was a deep cut. Are you going to follow Alina? Or more aptly, are you going to attempt to engage in this hunt? Or do you want to move along? Because you can absolutely do either one.
I say we just vote. I say we
vote
help.
We go after the star spawn. If these folk would like to help us with that, they are more than welcome to. And afterwards, I would be happy to help them with whatever other hunt they want to do. But we have a time limit for the star spawn.
It's not my choice to make.
We have taken it to a vote.
Billy, you find that this really does come down to
I abstain.
As a
Fair
guide. Our tour guide. guide. Landmarks to help in my decision.
Anything specifically come to mind, Joe? Or
Sorry, was that a question?
Yeah, I
Billy is basically trying to force Cheshire to weigh in on, like, at least provide some guidance as to which way Cheshire's leading. By,
you have
like,
all the
calling on
information that you got at
Victor
the
there you
table.
go, never mind. She doesn't say anything. She looks at you for a second. She kind of nods and turns away.
Kara doesn't understand that.
That seemed pretty clear to me.
Yeah, it seemed clear to me.
Cool. Kara doesn't understand that. You want to inside Kara? That's an 18. Help.
What?
What?
Help! Help! What do you? What does
What
it mean?
are you trying to message through your implications?
Kara doesn't understand. Kara's too dense.
Cheshire doesn't care.
Okay.
Because either way, this is going to play out the way it's supposed to.
Cool. Cheshire's just like low.
The wheels of fate continue to turn.
Valis looks at Billy.
This is a hunt.
Yep.
And if the wild hunt is here, it worked well for us last time. If you recall.
All right.
Their quarry could be ours.
The votes have been cast. So, how are we searching for this hunt?
You can see Alina kind of turns around and she says, "Just give me a minute and I can find it." And she kind of darts off and ahead of the group.
So, if we're going to be helping the three of you, what are your names? Masarai?
Masarai nods and they said, "Are you guys a democracy? Because that's pretty cool." And
It's really not.
the satyr just kind of says, "That is Masarai, and I'm Durandal. Durandal Woodstep.
We are kind of
And our quiet companion is Ucker."
progressive. Like our own little nation.
The orc says, "I like that. That's cool."
I know. How
They
do you
look
like
over
that?
at the satyr very pointedly, but the satyr just kind of nods and they say, "We appreciate any help that you can give us, and we'll do what we can to assist you."
Does your group have a name?
No, we sort of found each other along our various journeys to. How familiar are you with the Feywild?
I'm not, but I believe other members may be a little bit more familiar.
Spent some time there.
Well, are you familiar with the Grove Druid Enclave in Shrimbleshire?
Am I?
Make a roll a D100.
The Gerber Glade. 78?
With a 78, you've never heard of a Shrimbleshire. It's unfamiliar in your mouth, but no real clear idea.
Have not heard of it, I'm afraid.
It's one of the nicer parts of the autumnal wood. But we all gathered there, coming from various places. Masarai nods and goes, "I came by a ship." And they point over at the human and they go, "We're not really sure where he came from. He doesn't say very much."
Is there something weird about this human?
Make
Besides being
make an insight check.
Well, I only ask because we
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
just
yeah.
went past an area where
sure.
people could have potentially been swapped places with.
For sure.
This dude's a fucking doppelganger. It's a 13.
Hard to tell.
This dude's a fucking
But they're
doppelganger.
quiet. You can see they have a very large sword on their back, and outside of that, not a lot you can tell.
Is this the Starspawn?
Mm.
Are you?
There
the
is
Starspawn?
something really weird about their clothing,
Mm,
for sure.
like from a different area.
I would say Cheshire, you can tell that they're wearing a robe of prestidigitation, and so it's
Oh.
just kind of unnaturally clean.
Mm.
But
Guy's a fucking doppelganger.
Or you just sit there sweating.
Cheshire, I think that's one of the
You know what? It is.
Suddenly, Alina comes bounding back, and you can see excited, a little flush in the face, and she says, I found it. Follow me. And she clap, 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 off and into the woods. Do you follow?
Are we taking the cart, or are we going by foot?
She runs back and goes, we can walk. And then she runs back.
Will we
forward.
come back here?
She runs back again.
We have rest.
Yeah,
Do you need
yeah.
some
We'll come back here. Runs back off. Now, this was going to be Alina's first hunt, and unfortunately, Hannah's not going to be with us for this particular part.
Could we?
Is there any?
Billy, can you roll a D100 for me as the closest representative to Thornton?
Could we not?
Joe, could we postpone this and do another one, and then kind of like?
I feel real
Come
bad.
back.
I normally would say yes. It's been like really challenging to adjust the story again and again and again. Not just for one person, just like there was a time where we were supposed to meet the mechanic in like Echo's story, and then Kara got sick, and like so he blasted off into space. And it doesn't always make sense in the grander story, and so I want to stop doing that as much. This isn't like a cornerstone moment for Alina. It would be nice for Alina to be here, but it's not I wouldn't have something that would be critical to miss. That being said, I don't want to continue to kind of like readjust the day of, because that's very hard. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
20.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
They're 20 grung.
With
That's easy. Come to Yupples.
One of them is Yuppel.
With a 20, as you make your way through the woods, kind of following Alina, you can barely keep sight of the satyr as they just rush ahead, so thrilled that you kind of lose sight, but you don't lose sight of this swirling mystical portal. And Billy, you had kind of observed, or at least been near Alina when you had passed up this chance before. You can feel a very similar kind of shimmer and thrum to the air here, but this portal lies open, and you can see beyond it, there is a dark sort of huntland that you can see. This is almost certainly a demiplane that is a facet of the Feywild itself. It is not dark and shadowy like the space that you had peered into here. This is a place that is dark because it is overgrown with vines and thick trees that grow together. You can see there is a lot of stonework here, but Billy, for you in particular, your hair stands on edge. There is something to this that is kind of unnatural. And though you don't see Alina has gone straight through, so excited is she. You do hear right at the edge of this portal, come home, Billy. And because it is 8 o'clock and I have to switch out the battle map, this is where we're going to take a break. So thank you for sticking with us. Oh, you didn't even get to see this because there wasn't actually an encounter on it.
It was really
There's a whole
cool.
encounter map out here. It's
mirrored.
mirrored. But
We just did so well, you didn't have to see
you
it.
did, honestly. You did. With 6 people, it was a much higher percent chance, especially with wisdom as the stat, that you
It
would
probably
fail.
would have been me, but I rolled well.
No, I was counting on Rez being the person that would
Oh,
fail.
yeah.
But-
But that's fine. He can just swap places and then just poof away and come back, right?
yeah, sure. Anyways, we are going to step away for a quick break, and we will be back at the end of your timer. We'll see you then. right, and we are back. Thank you for sticking with us through the break if you did. If not, welcome to D&D. You're a part of it now. Give me 1 second.
It's too late. One of us.
It's too late.
One
Let
of
me
us.
switch the music a little bit.
It's cool. We've got swag.
Okay.
Especially if you check out our Patreon.
There you go. Shameless plug. I love it.
Billy, in this moment, as you look and you can see, let me put up our battle cam. You can see it a little bit, but maybe in greater detail if people take pictures at Elbron RPG.
And on the Patreon. There it is.
Billy, you are standing
There it
like
is.
right at the edge over here and kind of gazing out. You see this kind of stone wall in front of you. You see these bushes.
Where are our
Sorry,
figurines?
I brought you back.
We're behind
Damn.
the curtain.
We died already.
This is
Hey,
the
guys.
Shadowfell.
Give me a smile.
Pre-died.
We're pre-died?
All right.
Yeah, sorry. Mike is in the way.
And I forgot to pull the hunters out during the break, but what I can do, since I didn't end up using my doppelgangers, just use 3 of these
Makes
guys.
sense.
The doppelgangers.
They're not actually, though, right? Just
No.
to be clear.
Well, Ori's not sure, but the rest of you are pretty
Yeah,
confident.
that human's fucking sketchy as
That-
shit.
That's the human. That's the sketchy
Yeah.
human. And they look like very similar to that, except they're wearing like this plain white garment over like a single black like leather
Looks like it
armor
might have
or
been a
something.
hardball at some point, and then took over a human after.
That's
Ori's
exactly
just
what
out
that
here.
miniature looks like, 1,000%. That miniature is so creepy looking. It has the most vacant stare that I've ever seen,
what
and,
I'm
and a
saying.
really big smile, like super happy but no smile in the eyes.
It's so fucking creepy.
I know. But
I'm sorry.
Oh my
Hannah in the
God.
chat says to do a good job in this hunt, guys. Sir Nunos wills it,
Sir
but
Nunos
mistypes
wills
it
it.
as will. Oh my god, what the fuck is that?
No, Sir Nunos is just going to sit this one out. What she's saying. You guys are on your own.
Sir Nunos will sit and watch.
Why'd it get so dark
He's
everywhere?
he's got like a picnic blanket.
He's over the space, and you can see. Billy, can you make a perception check? You
No.
hear in your ear this voice say, "Come home, Billy."
Sir, I rolled a natural 1.
And looking into the space, you see stone, you see bushes, you see these little kind of scrublands, and this seems to go out and out and out, maybe 500 feet into the distance. It's dimly lit, and in the distance, you see these brambly walls that rise up and up and up and form a dome over this entire space. This is almost certainly like a demi-plane that you are witnessing. And it's chilly.
Guys, this sucks. I didn't think that would suck.
Are we going to somewhere hellish with more of this Lephistus nonsense with it getting cold?
Make an insight check. Get in touch with their feelings about how fiendish this might be.
25.
Does it smell like farts?
With a 25, looking at this, you've literally looked into the hells before. This does not look like that. This feels a little bit more Feywild in nature.
Damn, this is in my backyard.
Any idea of what area of the Feywild?
No idea. This is something that you're not familiar with. But there is something, Ori, that in this space feels closed off or disconnected. It feels, though it looks like, stone and bushes and kind of this dense grown in, almost like a waterless swamp. It feels kind of like a prison or a cell. It's closed in on all sides.
Or like an arena?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's definitely a test for these chumps.
Billy looks forward and just kind of being like, yep, this is a dome. Looks back to the hunters
Mhm.
And says, well,
You want us to lead?
Well, it's your hunt, right?
They look at each other. They look nervous, but The satyr kind of nods, and they begin to walk forward.
Can I walk side by side with them?
Yeah, sure.
Billy's
Wow.
gonna choose another to like walk with.
Okay.
Yeah, while they're walking ahead, I want
Can you give me my creepy human back?
to. I was trying to take a picture of
Matt
it
wants
for
to
the
keep it
Insta.
forever.
So Alice, you follow
It's
the
his
one
new
in the
best
lead.
friend.
And I'll say to him like,
I swapped
"You'll
places
leave, but
with
you
them,
won't.
actually.
You
I'm
won't be
the tall
alone."
man.
Okay.
That's me.
Well, Cheshire kind of falling out a little bit of a distance, presumably.
Ah, yes, we're so clumped up. Very good.
You can spread yourself out if you wish. But you,
Billy
there-
would like try and direct her buddy off to like one side to kind of like flank around the other while like so we can kind of get
which side?
this way.
Okay.
Let's
So
move
you
my
all
mini
begin to
further
move
away
off.
from me.
I would
To the
probably
left.
try to
To the
like
left, to the left.
slink back a little
Fine.
bit. Is it dark or dim?
It's dim.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of, sneak out, just
Okay.
kind of fall back a little bit, and I want to try to see, like, we're in a dome-like
Make a perception
area.
check. Or
What is being held in here?
make it a perception check.
For
For
dirty
you,
20.
Billy, you walk off a little bit further to the left, and your buddy, this satyr, they squint and they peer forwards and they go, shh. And they kind of knock an arrow in their bow and they peer forwards and they go, do you see that?
If they point it out to me, do I see something?
They point forward and you have to, with your natural one,
Yeah.
you're looking.
I'm looking real hard.
They look at you, they look forward, they look at you, they look forward, they look at you a little confused now, and they take you by like the bottom of your chin and tilt your head, and you look forward, and Billy, you can see. It's hard for you to see.
She's the one blessed by her and the hunter. I'm just here.
A floating light. It is dim. It is barely giving off any light. You can see this kind of orb just drift. And as you behold it with your natural one, and he turns your head, you hear, and it just vanishes. But that was the last place that you saw it.
Billy kind of like looks over at the rest of them and just kind of just like,
I got a dirty 20.
With a dirty 20, Ori, you look and Billy goes, we've got. And you look over, you see this, but in addition, Ori, with that check, you see a few more.
you got spooks. You're just casual spooks.
Do you say anything?
But
Yeah.
Ori, with your perception check, you are quiet enough that they don't just disappear, they kind of float. And they drift, moving like a foot to the left, a foot up, a foot down, kind of every now and then, seeming to just kind of exist in this space.
Mm.
But you have actually heard of these before, and at a distance you encountered them within the Firefly Forest.
Mhm.
This are will-o-wisps. And you know that they're a little dangerous.
So I'm gonna be like, will-o-wisps.
Do I know what that is? I don't think I was there.
You weren't there for that. Make a Arcana check.
13.
Who is a threat?
With a 13, you've never heard of these specifically, but they look like ghosts. Little tiny glowing ghosts.
Divine sense.
You cast out Divine Sense. And actually, give me 1 second. I believe you do actually ping.
60 feet.
Something
Celestial
else?
fiend, undead.
Oh no. Not only these.
No, I'm just
but
trying to remember
also-
the creature type for it because I didn't write it down. Just got the stat block.
I think it's.
Okay. You do note that from your position, just barely in range, you have to kind of take a few steps forwards, there are undead presences. These lights, each certainly a ghost or spirit of some kind. They are undead.
Undead.
We need to be careful.
It's a bit.
Draw your sword.
I say it pointedly to the 3 hunters that are supposed to be taking the lead on this.
No problem. You do that.
Billy starts to like hold an eldritch blast in her hand, and like encourages her buddy to like also get ready, and looks over at the rest of the group.
He looks at you, and arrow's still knocked. He says, I'm going to go up to higher ground. And they kind of stealth forwards. And Billy, they disappear.
My buddy's good. I've got rolled a natural 1 on perception, but my buddy's good.
They rolled a 19 on stealth for their
Great.
natural number. And the only reason that you actually see them kind of get up and into position is because they let you for just a moment as they like charge this arcane arrow to fire. For all of you, the signal for this to start is this mote of fire energy that up. In that moment, these little wisps begin to kind of bob and move a little bit more angrily. Could everybody please roll for initiative? And as you have kind of like maneuvered yourself, if you want to move yourselves up to 20 feet closer to any of these wisps, you can. And because you have the sort of guide of the hunt with you in Alina, all of you can add +5 to your initiative scores.
Don't need it.
Okay, not you.
Oh my god!
Anybody rolling a natural 20?
This guy.
Oh, look at Valis with that big
That makes
natural
sense, though.
20.
I'm sticking in with that.
Ooh,
Valis is
Valis,
daddy.
what's your dex score?
What?
Damn.
+5 from the bonus you gave me.
Nice.
That's not your dex score.
Who says?
Okay, so Valis, you are not going first with a natural 20. You are going second. We have the Will-o'-the-Wisps with, by the way, +9 to their dexterity.
Yeah.
Will-o'-wisp
Fucking
are fucking awesome.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah,
Plus, as in like,
plus
a 20.
29.
wow.
Yeah,
Not that
they've
you would
got
know
an
that.
interesting stat.
I don't know.
They have
any of this.
they have one of the most lopsided stat blocks in all of 5e, I think. Okay, so anybody 25 to 20.
With the
Plus 5, yes.
5, it's a 23.
23 for Cheshire. Anybody 20 to 15.
17.
17 for Ori. 15 to 10.
11.
Damn,
Wow,
that's with the
Billy.
+5.
Coming
Wow.
in at an
I rolled
11.
a 2.
Okay.
Get all your
so-
bad rolls out of the way before the combat.
Yeah, that's
Good
what-
idea.
That's what that was. Like,
Very smart.
Let me
Big
go
brain.
ahead and change our music here.
I kind
Yeah, need some more.
Can we just say that there's Alina's just floating right here, firing down eldritch blasts?
I imagine whenever someone's not here and there's a combat that they're like also
They're
fighting
also
and killing stuff.
Yeah,
me too.
1000%.
Yeah.
There's a different
There's
Will of the
like-
Wisps.
Yeah.
There's
There's-
10 more that Alina's
there's
fighting
like
off.
Big
from the
bad.
Alina's
Two-
just soloing the daddy will of the wisp around the corner. There's
Yeah.
just like a big one.
King Wisp is
It's
around
the womp of the
corner.
wisp.
Yeah.
But in this particular moment, the Will-o'-the-Wisps are going to be going first. Valis, you'll be following. Cheshire is after that, then Ori, then another entity, and then at the very end of that, Billy. Oh, hang on.
And all of the hunters.
And actually, after Billy at a 10, they get the +5 too. Billy and this other person are actually getting
I
some.
just wanted you to have the first shot. I'm gonna hang back.
So, this individual up here at the top is going to get a surprise round on this Will-o'-the-Wisp. They do get an attack with their fire arrow, and they roll a 2 on the dice, which is a total of 7.
Wait,
Doing great,
don't
buddy.
they have advantage because they were unseen?
They do. They do. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Rules lawyer out here, protecting the innocent.
Second. And with a 17, that is still a miss, unfortunately.
Damn.
They have a great shot. And Billy, you can see your sort of buddy who is up here on the bluff. They pull the shot back, and it is dead on, but that wisp already just disappears and is no longer part of this plane. They kind of curse and sink back a little bit, but too late. You can see agitation all along this wisp line. That is the surprise round, and that brings us to the Will-o'-the-Wisps. Okay. So, your buddy is going to have a bad day as he
Buddy!
is the only person directly visible. Valis, actually,
He's
you
stealthed.
are.
He was stealthy. He was stealthy.
He was, but the shot kind of breaks stealth. And he doesn't have a bonus action as a rogue to hide again. So, yeah. In this moment, the Will-o'-the-Wisp just disappear, and then in a fit of giggles, these ethereal sort of spirits launch themselves at this individual up on the bluff. Each of them is going to get a shock attack. It's 3 shock attacks. They actually didn't roll terribly well. The lowest one is only an 8, but one of them will hit. And so, Billy, you see this individual try to duck down, but as they kneel, already these wisps have made themselves real in front of him, and he is going to take 11 points of lightning damage. And you see, it is like as this creature appears, there is this little giggle, and then this shock, and elements of their energy are transferred into this will-o'-the-wisp. They glow a little bit brighter. The light sheds a little bit more intensely, and you see this person looks like they are in bad shape after only one of those attacks. Valis, this will-o'-the-wisp kind of flies one direction, then the other, and then appears directly in front of you, and they will get a shock attack against you. Valis, that is going to be a 22 to hit.
All that hit.
All right. With the 22, Valis, you take 9 points of lightning damage. And as a bonus action, could you... Oh, no, sorry. I'm not going to be able to do that yet. That is all that it can do. That is the will-o'-the-wisps. That brings us to Valis. Valis, this creature shocks you, but it is now right in front of you. What do you want to do?
Alright, seeing that one of our hopeful hunters is in peril, I am going to...
It's like if Hot Guy goes up.
I'm gonna face that over here and then run. So let's see, it's hard to tell, but I'm like, probably that's about 30 feet.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna walk up to this guy and attack the wisp in front of me.
Okay.
And do I get to flanking on it?
You absolutely do.
Nice. Can I get D20?
You don't have a D20? Oh, for advantage.
Yeah, for
I
advantage.
was like, you didn't bring a D20 to D&D?
I didn't think I need it.
Who needs a D20?
I didn't think I'd be doing
That was going to be a
anything
roleplay
today.
session.
That's right. Vincent gets to use the tiny die.
Ooh.
So tiny, it bounced out the first time. Does a 22 hit?
22 hits.
Alright, see.
And this creature is a hard target. It is quick. It moves fast. Parts of it are ethereal. Your blade passes through a part of it, but you manage to just catch it with the other edge.
12 magical slashing and 4 radiant.
12 magical slashing and 4 radiant damage all sinks in, doing the exact amount that you would hope for. That is anything else, Valis?
Second attack,
Go for it.
even higher on the die.
That's going to be a hit.
Alright, and I will... Let's see. And I will smite
Okay.
with
Smite damage.
that one. Does this... You said this thing pinged
It
as
is undead.
Alright, so let's just do the weapon damage first. So that would be 8 magical slashing. Actually, no. 8. Yeah, 8. And then 7.
Those are so small.
So small.
How do you handle those? Not well.
I handle them well.
It's like grains of sand.
Wait, 1, 2. I think I rolled 1 too many. Yeah. Oh no, I rolled the right amount. Okay. 20 radiant.
It does the exact amount that you would expect, no more, no less, but Valis, plenty of damage. As you leap up and strike this creature, first once, it gets hurt, but with a backswing, you alight it with radiant energy, and this entire thing goes from giggling to just a single long shriek, and then poof, just bursts into nothing. You hear off in the distance, behind the elements of stone, somewhere in the darkness, this voice just go, bah! But anything else, Valis?
Yeah, I'm going to... Did I get a sense that I... Can I see that creature that went by?
Do you have an action to make a perception check?
No.
No.
Damn. Alright, and I'm going to step forward and... end my turn.
All right, you end your turn, no problem. That is your turn, Valis. Cheshire, what would you like to do, or you are on deck?
to this lovely individual who's closest.
Okay.
Get your head in the game. Go, go, go. That's a D10 inspiration.
Okay, you look at this creepy human. You give him 1d10 of inspiration. I will take a d10 to remember that. Anything else?
Gonna make myself kind of small in the bushes there.
Okay. You make yourself small. Are you action stealth checking?
Sure.
All right, make a stealth
Let's
check.
do it.
You just dive into the bush.
The stealthiest.
29.
With a 29, you can see for a brief moment, Cheshire swan dives into the bushes, and there is a poof, and the legs just stick straight up before down like a snake going into the ground, just disappears. And Cheshire is somewhere in the foliage. Anything else, Cheshire?
Nope.
Alrighty, you inspire this individual, you vanish. That brings us to Ori, and then the hunters are on deck.
You got this.
So I want to use my movement to go up to here with the cloak.
Okay,
Dark.
it is
That's-
dim. You absolutely pull this cloak across and just bamf up onto this platform.
And then bonus action, I'd like to make a perception check to see if I can locate the source of the buh.
Make a perception check.
Buzzy button.
The source of the bug.
Couldn't just say it the voice.
Ooh, that's a 30.
Who does that?
With
What's in
a
the bug?
30, Ori, barely you can see this. And the reason that it is barely is because this individual is invisible. And
I
in
thought
this
you were going to say it
moment,
was going to be a bear.
in the darkness, as they say, bah, there is no visible sign of them, but you see a distortion in the air. And you have a pretty clear idea of what is over there. For just a moment, lurking behind this, as they sneer in disgust at the vanquishing of one of their minions, you see a very hag-like face. Long, crooked nose. You see this gray skin. You see these sharp teeth. You see 3 eyes, 2 in the normal place, and then 1, like right above the nose. All of them just kind of sneering, and then they become invisible.
I shoot them.
You've never seen a face like this before. ever.
And I go, Billy, and shoot at in the direction, hoping that.
No problem. Let me just check one thing real quick.
It just points.
What?
Billy.
I don't. No, I'm pointing with the crossbow and shooting at it. Like, look, and then follow. Damn.
Do you want to use
Billy,
any more
hag!
descriptors? Okay, there we go. There we go.
Excellent. You use a great descriptor. You're not pointing at the rock. You're pointing at and you're going to take a shot. That is, what is the range of your crossbow?
I believe it's the long is like 320.
It's between about 60 and 90 feet.
Let me check the.
The
It's
enemy
80 feet.
Oh.
So I
It's
think
80
I
feet
I think you're
normal
outside.
range, and then my max range is 320.
Yeah,
Actually,
so
it's about exactly 80 feet away.
I think you are. You can also get closer.
I also still have some more movement speed, so I
you have
probably
10 feet left. So you
yeah,
can get
so I
closer,
would
and that
go
will certainly put you within range.
like there, I think. Roughly.
So from right there, you rush forwards. You pull the crossbow up. Make your attack roll. This is at disadvantage. They are invisible.
Is it flat because of my? Oh no, I guess
It's not advantage. It would be a
Yeah,
flat
no.
roll regularly.
Yeah,
disadvantage
flat roll.
because they're
I'll take the
invisible.
shot. Still taking the shot. It's an invisible hag.
Yeah.
Oh!
I don't know what to do. with
Did you
this.
hit me?
No, it's a natural 20, dear.
Oh, okay.
Very nice. Make
Well,
an
no,
attack.
I gotta roll the disadvantage. That's
I
why
am
I'm so
hag.
sorry.
You might just roll another natural 20.
It's true.
Which I might. Still okay
As
though.
long as it's not a natural one. or it
That would have
hits
been really
against me.
cool, but that's still a 25.
With a 25, that is absolutely right.
Nice. And I'm gonna pump some stuff into this for
Nice.
good old hit.
That's what he said.
First
so
of all,
fire damage
I
for
restrained
one.
myself
Okay.
from those jokes earlier, man.
I can't make it a sneak attack, so that's out. But then I think, let me just see which one I want to use. I'm gonna make the attack, and then I'll decide
Okay,
after I
that sounds
roll
good.
the damage. Okay, so do.
That's the sounds Ori makes as he prepares his crossbow.
Yeah.
Just
All right.
I just
Hag!
how he gets sneak attacks.
All right, so that's gonna be 5
Because he's just
fire
so
damage.
average.
Okay.
And
That
then-
is about half as helpful as you would hope that it would be.
Okay, and then 11 plus 17 magical piercing damage.
That does the full amount.
And if they're concentrating on a spell, they have disadvantage on the concentration or the con check save
Nice.
They are not.
to maintain it.
Oh man.
It's invisible. It's not a spell.
Yeah, and then
It's a feature.
yeah,
Not a bug.
Correct.
I think it's a save. Sorry.
What are you using?
I'm trying to see. I think I'm gonna do. They're not. Wait, no, they're not wielding anything, are they? Then
They're
no.
invisible.
They're invisible.
Yeah, then no. I'm not gonna do it.
Okay, no worries. So you attack. You feel like some of that damage, the fire in particular, not as effective as you would hope. The rest is, but that is your turn, Ori.
Yep, that's it.
All right, that brings us to the hunters. So this hunter gets they sag with the damage of this first attack. But Valis, you surge in. They turn around. They can see like Billy is still kind of fighting here. Ori has now made their way up. And there's a little bit of hope for them left. In this moment, they decide that they're going to stand and fight. And very Legolas style, the bow, they just throw to the side, letting it slide across the stone. And they take the arrows and just start stabbing with them.
That's not how you use that.
But that is a 23 to hit with the first attack, and only going to be a 14 with the second. But with the first one, they do deal minimum damage, and every little bit counts for 3 points. As Billy, you say, that's not how you use it, and they look down, and they seem to be realizing it in this moment. However, the bow, not super effective at such close distance. That is that one. The other two, seeing their sort of proclaimed leader in trouble.
Invisible.
So which one is which? Like which one is Masarai?
So this is Masarai, this is Occam.
Ocker.
Is going to go straight for this one, and they will charge forward. Okay.
And then that's fucking the satyr Durndal.
So this orc from over in the distance is going to like just gesture, and there is a mote of fire that leaps forwards towards one of these will-o'-the-wisps. But with a 10, that is going to be a miss. And then down there, this individual who has spoken not at all grips the sword and yanks it out of the sheath on their back, and all at once the sword just ignites into this of fire. And wielding this two-handed fiery sword, they are going to swing. They say nothing. There is no roar, but I would say Ori, from where you are, you can hear them breathing hard. It is as if they have entered a rage. And they make this attack against the will-o'-the-wisp quite recklessly. But they are going to roll a 3 and a 3 on the dice, and they are going to miss. They will take a second attack, and that is much better. There we go. So
Guys,
with
they're
a
just
doppelganger, with
watching.
a 26, he tightens the grip on his sword. Just
breathing heavily
hard. That is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 points of damage. And this will-o'-the-wisp flickers and falls. The giggle becomes a screech. It is hurt, but it is still up. That is all of the hunters.
What did this one do again?
They fired firebolt, but they used so technically they used bonus action to help them get up there, and they're getting ready to do something a little bit greater. Their action economy at low-level druid is quite poor. That is, and they've already wild-shaped once today. That is the hunter's turn. This brings us to our other individual. So, Ori, you take a shot. That is not their favorite thing in the whole wide world.
They're not my favorite thing in the whole wide world either.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's Valis.
Valid.
Valid.
That's valid.
All right, so as your arrow sinks in, there is the flare of fire damage, and again, you hear from behind this rock, "Bah!" back at you! And they throw this hand forwards, and you see those motes of fire freeze and then separate up into the air, and then multiply, and then multiply again. And you watch as 9 of these magic missiles streak towards you, and Ori.
That's a lot of magic missiles.
19 points of force damage, as they are very small magic missiles. Each of these little motes of fire almost just ripping into you from beyond, and you no longer see this individual. They are invisible. Still, through that attack.
I uncanny dodge.
Okay, so half out of damage.
Yeah. So it was 18, you said?
As far as you know, they're still there. Yep. Give me just a second. That is all that they are going to do. That brings us to Billy.
Ori said the magic word!
Billy, you hear this call of Hag. What are you doing?
Billy can't really go through the rock. Billy doesn't want to go around the rock. Billy's gonna Misty Step over the rock.
All right.
That's about as far as Misty Step gets them, I think. Yep.
You
20.
can use that ruler. if
I think you
wanna-
get 5 feet closer.
5 feet closer?
Yep.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's 30, not 20?
I think so.
30, yeah.
Sweet. I haven't been playing Misty Step wrong.
You got it.
Billy is not going to take an action to perceive, because that's not how Billy rolls when Billy sees Hag. Billy doesn't see Hag.
Billy does see Hag now, right?
No,
I thought they made themselves visible.
they are still invisible.
Oh.
It's an
Oh.
ability, not a spell.
But the fire. Yeah.
Billy sees no Hag. I'm just like... Billy looks over at Ori. That was cruel. And QQs the Will-o'-the-Wisps
Okay.
with Eldritch Blast.
Make your attack rolls.
Damn. My Starfinder numbers are back. So the lowest one is going to be a 12.
Well,
That's a
your
miss.
heart's not in it because you thought it was a
It's
hag.
really not. I'm very disappointed.
That's a miss.
And the second one is a 17,
That is a miss as well.
and then the last one is an 11.
And that is a miss as well.
Billy just like sulks.
Yeah, you sulk.
worry.
You're up here. You're looking for a hag, but there is nothing to be found. Just these will-o'-the-wisps. Your heart isn't even really in it. That is your turn, Billy. That brings us to the top of the round and
You
to
got
the will-o'-the-wisps.
So it's good that this is happening in like 6 seconds because you're gonna get happy again.
They don't actually need to be able
Billy's
to
emotions are not stable.
move.
We know this.
Valis, with your smite, you attract a lot of attention. These two
Hell
kind
yeah.
of will-o'-the-wisp go from giggling. You hear the very almost like Navi from Legend of Zelda, the "Hey!" and then they just swarm towards you.
I slashed him harder now.
Take 2 shock
listen.
attacks. Valis, the first or the lower of the two is going to be just a 10 to hit,
That will miss.
and then the higher one is an 18 to hit.
That will miss.
And so, as the tank of this group, you stand up there, the will-o'-the-wisp turn to attack you, and you can see this hunter now, like their eyes sharpen. They see that they can probably get away. That is both of the ones that are up there. The one that is down by this barbarian gets a single shock attack. That is going to be a 20 to hit, which will hit.
He's a barbarian. He'll be fine.
And he's raging.
He's so mad right now.
So he's going to take 10 points of lightning damage. He does take the full amount of lightning damage, as it turns out. So you can see he winces in pain, but he's still fine. Squaring off to fight this creature.
Secretly,
Like
That is
level
all the
2, right?
will-o'-the-wisps. That's not terribly far off from where they are. They're lower level than you for sure. But Valis, what would you like to do?
Let's see. Did I see the hag, or was that just Ori?
You saw Ori fire something and then fire get returned. You didn't see the hag.
Okay. Alright. Let's see. Well, I guess I will just shift this way.
Okay,
That will draw 1 attack of opportunity.
it will. It swoops towards you. That is an 18 to hit.
Miss.
There you go.
I'll
You
take
step
another
over.
step back.
It
Which will
hits
draw
you with your
another attack
shields
of
on.
Very nice. Only an 8. And so you dodge one way, you swoop down to a knee, and you like skid across the stone. There is a trail of sparks that follows you, but you rise up to your feet, now flanking this creature with this hunter.
Then I move in, and I'm basically just dancing with these will-o'-the-wisps, and I will attack it twice. 24 to hit.
24 hits.
This one will be 8 radiant and 9 slashing.
8 radiant and 9 slashing. That's magic slashing?
Yes, magical
Alright.
slashing.
That does the full amount that you would expect. And that will-o'-the-wisp, the one that they had stabbed with an arrow, that is enough to destroy it and vanquish it from this plane of existence.
Let's see. I want 1. Wait. Now I gotta count my movement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Nah, can't get around to flanking it, so it will be just an attack, and that will just be a 17.
That is a miss, unfortunately. You are getting a little out of breath. You've run
Oh my God.
30 feet in
This
10
armor's
feet.
heavy, guys.
Yeah, and you are just slashing back and forth. It is effective, but you are not able to hit your second attack. Anything else, Valis?
Let's see. I will. No, that'll be it.
All right. Cheshire, what would you like to do? Or you are on deck.
To the guy who's currently in contact with the other wisp.
Mhm.
Focus.
Okay.
That's healing word.
Oh, very nice. How much healing is
So
that?
that will be max for 9.
For 9, you heal them almost back to full health. And you can see in that moment the ragged breathing, there's just this and they just hold the sword up and seem to have refocused themselves. They are ready to fight. Anything else, Cheshire?
That's it.
All right, you bolster this individual. Ori, what would you like to do? The hunters are on deck.
Which hunter has the bardic again?
That one. Ocker. They haven't needed it yet.
Do I still have a sense of roughly where the hag is?
No?
All right, I'm gonna.
I left the mini in
Wait.
the last known location, but
Okay.
they've had a turn since then.
Okay, so I'm gonna go boop.
Was there a ba when I dispatched another will-o'-wisp?
No.
Damn.
They seem to have learned from that
Not
mistake.
will-o'-wisp,
Get up
death-based
to
buzz.
No.
right here, along this wall.
Can you, sorry, say it one more time?
I'm gonna move down to here.
Okay.
Cloaking down. Bonus action. I'm gonna make a perception check to see if I can find where they could have gone.
Yeah, make a perception check. I didn't realize it was a cunning action.
It's my eye for detail.
Oh, right. Eye for detail.
I can
not a
make
cunning
a
action.
bonus action perception or investigation check.
His liver for
That's
alcohol
cocked,
is,
I think. Oh,
full action.
This is actually like the perfect place for eye for detail.
Alright. That's
A hag cave?
27.
With the 27, Ori, you can perceive that this hag has moved. Not terribly far.
We perceive him.
I recall a certain other archer who just stayed in one spot and used eye
But
for
directly
detail.
in front of you, this hag has moved. They are now crouching behind that other wall. They seem to have taken maybe 20 feet of distance from their last attack, and that invisible kind of motion is there.
And then you can't use things that say as a bonus action as an action,
Correct.
right? Okay. Then I'm gonna make another attack.
Go for it.
Still at disadvantage.
But it's actually quick toss.
Or flat.
This is still a disadvantage. The reason that you're even able to attack is
Is
because of
because
your
the-
bonus
yeah,
action.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
where's
like
my-
that's what makes that such a good ability in this scenario. It's kind of encounter breaking.
Nice.
I'm okay with that.
24 to hit.
24 is a hit.
Nice. And so that's another. I'm not gonna. I'm gonna expend another charge of the fire damage. Because why not? I mean, I'm a free action. I'm gonna be like, look.
She gets a turn in between you and me.
Oh my god.
Damn.
I don't know.
Fucking rough.
Well, that's 16 damage, 4 of which is fire, so halved.
Mm-hmm.
And That's it. The other is piercing.
Yep.
Magic piercing.
No problem. That does the full amount, but the fire is halved. You were able to sink this shot. You could hear this hiss, and they try to withdraw a little further back, but that is a hit. Anything else, Ori?
That's it for me.
Do you say anything?
Oh, yeah. I say, Billy, over by the corner there.
And do we see that, like from a vantage
And then I
point, like,
shoot. I say it, and then...
what do we see? Or
As long as you see where the shot lands, and I would say as long as you are moving before this creature does, you can at least take an attack at disadvantage against her. Sorry, Billy.
Yeah.
But we at least know that there's definitely a creature there. We
For
don't
sure.
think Ori's crazy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
For those of you up on the bluff, yeah, not because of this. This is not changing your opinion. So that is your turn, Ori.
Yep, that's it.
All right, that brings us to the hunters.
Are we questioning his sanity more than usual, or is this just an average level of sanity?
So now that you guys have taken down 2 of these will-o'-the-wisps, that hunter is just going to hold his ground. The only one that's going to move is
Fireball Mackenzie.
Who is going to
That's
leap
all right.
across the
That's-
space.
that's Masarai, right?
Yeah.
Masarai.
And they're going to cross the
We
distance
We like
right
Masarai.
there.
He's got a good attitude.
He's got a good head on his shoulders.
And from there, they're going to just shoot off a firebolt. They're low on resources right now. That is only going to be an 11, and that is a miss as well. You might like Masarai, but they're having a hard time in this combat.
It's rough out here in the
It's
wild.
alright.
Right.
This person is going to take an attack at disadvantage with their bow. They knock this arrow, and they are going to light it up with radiant energy. And you can see, Valis, as your smite wears down, it is almost like that light is caught and catches on this arrow. They will take an attack at disadvantage. That is a 15, which is still a miss. And so that off and into the distance. There's like a single star for just a moment clinging to the wooden ceiling, and then it just goes dead. But that is all of these hunters. The one that is down at the very bottom will take 2 attacks at advantage against this wisp. Now steadied from Cheshire's words, the first is going to be a 24, which is a hit, and the second is going to be even higher.
Nice.
And so now, breathing steadily, focused and honed in, the first attack is going to be almost max damage at 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 points of slashing damage. Having already taken 13 points, that wisp is just cleaved in half.
Nice. They took one out. We didn't do all the work for them.
Good job, buddy.
He is going to just charge.
Damn, he's gonna need to hit something.
Just running forward.
Well, he just hit something, so
Right,
he's got
on
another
his-
turn.
He's got a turn before he has to hit another thing.
Right
And his
now,
eyes
it's not
just
looking for
scanning the
Ori.
terrain,
Like,
looking for something to hit. But that is his turn. That is all of the hunters. That brings us to this invisible creature. So Ori, you have now kind of drawn the ire of this creature.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Where are you? Oh, you are far.
I've got cover though, I think, because I went behind this little like corner here.
Yeah.
Like you know,
That is a very
not
confident
that it's
yeah
gonna
from
really,
that- from
yeah, not that it's
uh,
really gonna affect like if it tries to go after my brain.
Was that behind the screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've been working on my confident DM yeahs because it's. I have to bring them back next month. Tune in. Actually, you won't. They're recorded. Tune out. And then tune
or
back
from
in.
where you can't see them, but you get the sense. You know what? Since they're about to attack you, actually, no. Okay, sorry, I had to think about that for a second. First, they're going to make their attack, and then they're going to move. So from where they are, you can kind of get the sense that there is a blur of motion, and you see a darkening in the space in front of where they are standing. And then that darkness projects forwards into a beam. Ori, they're going to make a ranged spell attack. You do have cover. Does a 22 hit? Okay. Ori.
Can you dodge?
Give me 1 second. Ranged spell attack. So Ori, as this hits you, you feel as if your legs and your arms become lead. You feel as if they become so much heavier that your weapon almost drops out of your hand. For the duration of this spell, you only deal half damage with weapon attacks.
Damn.
And that use the strength skill. Much more important. Oh, this doesn't do what I thought it was going to do for They wouldn't know that. That's okay. Still hits you. If you are dealing attacks that use the strength attribute, just let me know. Aside from that, relatively okay. That is all that they're going to do on their turn. You have no idea where they go, but or you imagine they're not just standing still.
No damage.
No damage. That is all that they can do.
Just laziness.
That is going to bring us to
like fatigued or something.
Billy.
So I know that I don't have strength.
So, did Billy see that?
Yeah.
Lovely.
Love that for you.
You saw me be like, oh! Suddenly my arms and legs become noodles.
It was less about seeing you become
I stumble forward and am like, oh.
Why do you do it like that?
Where's the 20-foot
Square?
sphere?
Over there.
20-foot spear? Oh, spear.
One of those, I think.
I
I have
don't think there's a
the
20
20-foot square.
Ah, here it is. Wait.
Just make it circular.
Sorry, I'm usually not the big bearer.
Ah,
Sorry.
the bearer of things. Wait, also 10-foot radius.
Hey, look at that.
Very nice. Look at that.
For
Multi-purpose
future
thrusters.
reference.
Billy sees that happen. And, remembering what Ori said earlier, how excited she got, she just, like, squints off into the darkness. And casts silence.
Okay, very nice. So you cast silence, and for you, Ori, in the space directly in front of you, the sound just deadens. It is like you are staring into an impossibly soft space that just swallows sound. It actually makes you wobble on your feet, the silence in front of you. But absolutely, that sinks into effect in that area. Anything else, Billy?
Billy looks over at her buddy, who's trying his darndest. You can do it. And that's some D8 Bardic.
Okay.
Here,
He has a D8 Bardic.
Let's give Joe the full experience.
Oh, yeah, I never get Bardic inspiration from the PCs.
Tiny dice.
Oh, it's so small. It actually feels like you didn't put anything in my hand. I thought,
Oh, isn't it wonderful?
I thought it was like on a string.
Great.
Phenomenal. So you give them a little bit of Bardic. Anything else, Billy?
That is
All right. You cast
no.
silence. You step up to the edge. You peer out, but you do not perceive anything yet. That is your turn. That brings us to the top of the round and to the remaining Will-o'-the-Wisp. Valis, it is not too smart, and it is just going to shock you directly next to it. That is going to be a 14 against your your AC. That is going to be a miss. It tries to shock you, but it is worn down from trying to dodge between you and this hunter. Billy now up and firing Eldritch Blasts. It is not able to sink home. That is all the Will-o'-the-Wisps. That brings us to you, Valis. Cheshire, you're on deck.
I will flank it and then attack it. Let's see. Oh wait.
Kill that poor soul.
19 to hit.
19 is a miss.
well.
Wait, hang on. One sec. Let me just double check. Yes. 19 is a meets it, beats it. Sorry.
They're speedy and small, sprightly.
Alright.
Sprightly
That will be
indeed.
13 magical slashing and 4 radiant.
Okay. They are still up, but Valis, that strike almost cleaves it in half. The sort of sounds that we're making becomes almost like a growl, and then the sounds of radiant sparks as they just leap off, because this creature just barely hanging on. Anything else?
I attack it again.
Go.
I'm gonna do it again. Even higher on the die.
That is a hit.
Alright, and that will be 6 radiant and 13 slashing.
And Valis, with that, you cleave this thing entirely in two, and it just disappears. And you are now alone, just with the hunters and Billy up on this kind of stone platform. Looking down, you see the zone of silence. You see Ori gazing into the abyss. Anything else, Valis?
Yeah, I'll turn to the hunter next to me, and I'll say, when the creature presents itself, prepare an attack to attack it.
They nod. You can see they knock this arrow. That is your turn, Valis. That brings us to Cheshire. Ori, you're on deck.
Seeing
assuming everybody's pushing forward and the danger is being minimized, I will creep up to this next.
Next checkpoint.
Bush steps.
So there's like this one little bit of
Bushy
bush like pops out, and Cheshire has created like a bush-like hat, and then just runs forward, and then right into the next bush. No problem.
Head pops out, pops back in.
Anything else, Cheshire?
Just Diglett style. One
Yeah,
man.
exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm picturing. Just going from bush
All
to
right.
bush like that.
You Diglett, that is your turn. That brings us to Ori. Hunters are on deck.
Bonus action. I'm
Nice.
gonna try to track this hag again.
Make your perception check.
Might get away. 18.
With an 18, you are just barely able to perceive this creature. That is a beats it as they rolled low on this check.
Nice. So did I.
See them in the zone of
Nice.
silence. They are sneering at you, and in this moment, Ori, they look like they are trying to cast a spell. They may not be aware of the fact that they are in a zone of silence.
Still invisible though.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to, from there, before I go in, shout, "Follow me!" I'm going to bonus action.
You're not in the code of silence.
I know. Because now I am going to make my action attack.
With your strength?
No, with my dex.
I opt for strength. I throw the arrow.
I'm gonna drop my
I
bow.
throw my crossbow at her.
It's improvised attack, still dex.
I'm gonna drop my bow.
26 to hit.
26 is a hit.
And I will expend. No, I'm gonna save the last one because it's just fire damage, and just do the two that I've already used.
Sure.
That's 17. 3 of which was the fire.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna use my movement to go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. No. I think I can get just on this side of her if I fly over 40 feet of movement. 5, 10,
Oh, that's
15,
close.
20, 30, 35, oh, it's right on top
I
of
think
her.
you'd be on her, yeah.
So then I guess, can I go up here then?
No, it's an unoccupied space.
Okay. Then I go. Okay, is there a spot here?
Yeah,
that
you can
someone
stand
be- okay. Then I go there.
Okay, so just a little bit off to the
I just
left,
didn't
tucking
wanna,
against the wall.
Bottleneck it,
Yeah.
so you know.
No worries.
Where's your pocket, Sam?
That is your turn. You are in this silence, this creature directly in front of you. You can smell this almost unbearable stench of body odor and just wetness. It is unpleasant, and you can kind of feel the motion next to you, but you hear nothing. You can feel like hot breath. They are hissing or screaming at you, but you hear nothing. That is your turn. Ori, that brings us to the hunters.
There's 5 feet.
Valis, they are going to ready an action at your instruction to make an attack should this creature appear. Masarai is going to run up, and join this group, and he is just going to be like, "What are we doing? Oh, we're getting ready." And he's going to also get ready and move an attack.
Ready.
And they running 5, 10, 20, 40 will have to dash and will lose their rage and won't even make it to the combat. Actually,
Oh.
close, but they're there.
See,
It's
I
okay,
told
you're gonna
you.
die.
I followed you as instructed. Now what?
Non-lethal damage me to the back so that you can maintain your rage.
He slapped your ass.
Oh, too much!
He slit your throat.
Phenomenal.
I learned from Lord Valis.
Oh no.
You have two of them holding their actions for when this creature appears. That is the hunter's turn. That brings us to this creature. Or you are directly in their face.
I've got
Let
5
me
feet, right?
see if
it doesn't really
this
matter either
spell that they are trying to cast
When a creature within 5
requires
feet
a
of the
verbal.
cast a spell, you can use a reaction to make a way against the creature.
So a couple things happen all at once. directly in front of you. So a couple things happen all at once. Directly in front of you, this creature shrieks, and in this yell, there is the elements of a spell, but you hear nothing. And in the silence, this spell is wasted. They cannot cast lightning bolt directly in your face. That would be a powerful spell that would also arc out and strike other individuals in this line. Nothing happens. And you feel and sense in this quiet moment this frustration. That is their action because... Do you need to see them for that ability?
When a creature within 5 feet of you casts a spell, you can use your reaction to make a melee weapon attack.
They
against
did
that
cast the
creature.
spell, it didn't work, but that doesn't mean that you can't take the reaction. So you can take the attack roll
I'm
because it does
going to
not
do
say
so.
a creature you
at
can see.
disadvantage.
It
Right?
is at disadvantage. And again, if you had not used your eye for detail, this would not be an option available to you.
Did the creature, whenever it
That's
casts a spell, it
cocked.
stays invisible?
Correct.
It doesn't. Okay.
Not a bug.
That is a with my dagger. So it's not going to be a lot of damage, but that's a 21 to hit.
21 is a hit.
And this is just regular ass dagger damage.
Ass dagger damage.
That is the worst.
I don't know, because I don't know if this has ever come up. It has to be a hit with the crossbow for
To
the
continue,
fire
yes.
to
Correct.
like proc.
Yeah, that's part of the Ruby Crescendo's ability.
Okay, cool. That is 8 damage
8 points of slashing damage.
of just regular ass daggy
There
damage.
you go. And it does the full amount that, or no, sorry. It does half as much as you'd expect.
And
And
if they're concentrating on a spell,
they're not.
disadvantage.
Any
Oh, you know
chance-
what? Technically they are. It's not doing anything, but they are. And they lose this concentration. Or you get the sense that if you were going to make a strength-based attack, it would be more effective now.
Puncher.
They used
I have regained
they
my
used Ray of
strength.
Enfeeblement on the wrong person.
My
Any
back is
chance
healed from that attack.
That
The
interaction
made.
triggered the readied actions. Of
They're
the
still not
hunters.
visible, so they, and especially these guys can't really see them.
It's rough out here.
But that is
Fairy fire.
their turn. Fairy Fire would be dope. for them.
Yeah, one of you should
That
deal with that part.
is all of the
Don't got that.
hunters. That is
Me neither.
Okay, that brings us to Billy.
Teamwork.
Cheshire's back there. Cheshire's in a bush.
Cheshire's making
Soon.
plans.
That brings us to Billy.
Yes, Billy is thinking. Billy's trying to buy time because Billy doesn't know where to go from here after that stellar move that now she cannot see the thing. Good God. So much is ruined by not being
trying to-
able to see the thing.
Oh, I'm gonna get real rulesy on the next turn.
All right.
Just gotta,
I
gotta
love
warn
Billy
you.
is
Rulesy
going
on me.
to send off Eldritch Blasts at the spot that she saw Ori stab.
Okay, make an attack roll at disadvantage.
I really hope for you that you hit this.
I hope for me too. Alright, so the first one is a 15.
That is a miss.
That one is going to be a 22.
That is a hit.
And then the last one is an 11. So we get one
That is a miss.
Hey,
every little bit.
it
You know?
really counts.
Every little
And now you have confirmed that there is a thing there.
I've confirmed there is something there. Maybe it's just the ground. Maybe I
Could
hit
be
the
just
ground
the
real good.
Yeah.
I hit the ground so good. I hit the ground for 14 points of force damage.
Nice. And that does the full amount that you would expect.
On the ground?
On the ground?
Damn.
No.
Oh.
On this creature, whatever it is, you can see that there is a reaction, and it is not the ground.
That's why
Anything
I was
else,
just
Billy?
thinking pocket sand or something.
Oh, I don't. For bardic inspiration, they have to hear me.
That would make
So,
sense to me, yeah.
Damn. You can't hear me. Billy just like looks over and it's like, just show them what's what, I guess.
Okay, handing out inspiration. That is your turn, Billy.
That's it.
All right,
That's
that
what I
brings
got.
us to the top
Oh.
of the round. Oh. You just slide down the rocks. You land, you kind of roll your ankle, but you strengthen it back up. That is your turn. That brings us to Valis.
I don't
Cheshire,
have
you're on
random
deck.
people.
Alright. So with Billy saying that, Val will say, "You got it, Billy," and he's gonna take his sword and stab it into the ground and cast Moonbeam on that area that they were hitting.
Okay, phenomenal. Moonbeam is a pretty wide radius too. So
It's
even...
only a 5-foot radius, so I guess it would be.
Give me 1 second here. I thought Moonbeam was wider. Oh no, it is.
It's-
It's 40
It's just
feet
really,
high.
yeah,
That's
it's
what it
really
was.
long,
Yeah.
but not very.
No problem. So you throw this moonbeam on the spot that everybody's directing their attention
Just
to.
like shade.
That is a con saving throw.
It is.
Oh, yeah. And is it a shapeshifter? Actually, hold on. Let me read the rules.
I know the rules for that. It does not affect this creature in its
my
current
God.
form.
Okay.
For a Constitution saving throw, that is going to be 18.
So that meets it.
Okay.
So it just does, I think, half damage. Let me double check.
It half
Half
damage.
as much on a successful one.
And it's how much damage is it?
2d10.
Thank you.
Who's right there?
Oh,
Why did you look there when you got there?
it's gonna sound silly because you were looking at it, and I can't look at it while you look at it. Now I'm saying it out loud. I'm thinking about it. That's silly.
I understand these things, though. I understand.
So that'll be 11 half to 5.
11, half to 5. Okay.
But does the moonbeam illuminate it?
Oh, that. Is
Come on. Come on.
By the light of the
Magical?
moon!
Is it magical light?
Let's see. A silvery beam of pale light shines down.
No, it does not, unfortunately.
It's
It is-
engulfed in ghostly flame.
It is.
So do
but
they see the flames engulfing something?
No, because that's leading into fairy fire territory, and fairy fire has that purpose, I believe.
And it's ghostly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly.
And the damage was radiant.
Yep, and that
Okay.
does the normal amount.
All right. That is it for me today.
You hold this
see the
moonbeam
damage,
directly
but-
down. That is your turn, Valis. That brings us to Cheshire.
Cheshire's continuing to make her way downtown. Get a scope out of what's.
I was hoping to like illuminate it so we can.
You
get
pop
the-
up onto this platform and you look across and you can see your allies kind of firing down, throwing moonbeam on the spot. And Valis has really put a spotlight on this single point where everybody seems to be focusing their attention. But you see nothing in it.
What are we doing?
Invisible hag!
Oh! Fairy fire.
Okay, so you cast this 20-foot cube in the approximation of this area. With Valis putting a spotlight on this point, you can center it right on that spotlight. And sure enough, in the center, you can see illuminated by an outline of light. They do actually get a dexterity saving throw.
Every creature within that 20-foot cube takes a dexterity saving
Nice.
throw.
Okay,
Do I
first
also
for
do that?
the hag. That's not great. That is going to be 12 for the hag
That is a failure.
and
Nice.
7 for the
Do
hunter.
I
That is
fail?
also a failure.
I fail.
Both of them just illuminated with this magic light.
Dex save.
And all of a sudden, for all of you, you can see the outline of this form much clearer, hunchback, a little bit taller than Ori, but much broader of shoulder and wider of neck. This creature just looks as if they are pantomiming a shriek in Ori's face. They point a single finger just inches away from Ori's nose, trying to cast lightning bolt just straight through his head, but to no effect.
Splash of pink just like off Ori's head before it illuminates.
And Ori, as your head just kind of crones to the side, there is just light that illuminates this space. And though it is silent, it is also bright. Anything else, Cheshire?
No, that's it.
Ori, directly in front of you, this creature now lit.
Some ready attacks come off.
Lit.
Oh, yes! Ready to attacks
Been
come off.
lit.
And any attack roll against an affected creature or object has advantage if the
Hell
attacker can
yeah.
see it.
So first,
Nice.
you can see
That's actually huge for what I want.
Doran Darrell's going to take their attack at advantage. It is a piddling attack with 12. They do have Bardic. 13.
Is that with advantage?
13. Oh, wait, no, this is for the other guy. That was Cheshire's Bardic. What was yours? Is it a
D10.
D10? Give me 1 second.
Maybe
That
a little
would
better.
make the difference. And with a plus 10, that is a meets it, beats it. As they
Nice.
sink that shot, it is a... Oh, man, they procced it with damage, too.
Nice.
All right, that is going to be 7 points of slashing damage, halved to 3, and then 11, 12, 13 points of radiant damage, which does the regular amount. And all of a sudden, Ori, directly in front of you, this creature is looking rough. This druid now fires its proc firebolt. That is only going to be a 17 to hit, but they have Billy's. No, it's the other guy that has Billy's
This
inspiration.
guy has Billy's thing.
That guy has Billy's thing.
This guy has it.
Then that guy will use. Then never mind. We are all set in terms of this. They're unable to sink additional shots, but that one is pretty effective. That does bring us to Ori.
Nice.
Directly in front of you, this creature is lit up with fairy fire. If it bounces off your head, an arrow just kind of flies over top and radiant light beams off. There is a mote of moonbeam that just radiates and becomes a spotlight for this creature. You can see it very well now.
Cool. I have
You have advantage if you can see it.
Cool. Okay. I'm going to bonus action disengage.
Okay.
Back up here. Take a shot at her
Make an
with my
attack roll.
crossbow. At advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a sneak attack for the effect of bonus damage.
I think that was neighbors.
That's gonna be a
Boys are causing
30.
Yeah, it could be. A 30?
Yep.
That is going to be a hit.
So then that's gonna be 2 of the thingy thing fire damage and the regular ass damage. 4. Damn, that's 13 fire damage.
Only does half as
And-
much as you would expect.
13 regular ass piercing magical damage.
Okay, and that does the full amount that you would hope that it does.
Um,
And Ori, tell us how it happens.
Fuck! Oh
'Cause
no!
that is exactly the right amount.
No!
They had 99
Okay.
health. That was
It's okay.
99 hit points.
Damn.
It's okay.
Uh,
Some other time.
all right, I back up and shoot the crossbow at her, and
Wait, oh shit, wait.
it goes through the invisible hag who appears and is now dead.
Through
Sorry.
all the light, through the fairy fire, through the moonbeam,
fire
or you can
killed
finally
Sad.
see it. And in the silence, you breathe deep and you depress the trigger. And right as you break this moment of silence, you hear, no, don't shoot from everybody else. And you fire and you kill this hag. And you can hear a hiss from Billy up top. But in this moment, you are all out of initiative as you have slayed Ma Appleworm and her Will-o'-the-Wisps.
You just look around and you see Billy, and you can't hear because you're still in the silence, and you just see.
I feel like Ori's like, and then just turns back
We're all
as
staring at
music
you.
is playing. It's just like.
In this moment, you can see, finally finished fighting her 10 Will-o'-the-Wisps off in the corner, Alina returns. And in this moment, with the sort of overwhelming kind of magical light show that is happening back over there, it takes a moment to kind of see that she has caught up. But almost transfixed by whatever energy is kind of carried over from the hunt, you can see Alina holds up a hand in a dreamy like state, and almost not really noticing the hunter like turns to look at you, Valis, and they're just like, did you see that? And then Alina's hand just kind of right in front of the face, and you can see this little sigil appear on their head. For just a moment, it flashes with all the colors of the autumnal leaves, and then it's gone. And you can see like wonder on this person's face. And they look at Alina and they just say, "You're for real, aren't you?" And she nods. And she turns and he gathers like the other hunters who gather around, and Alina performs this rite on the others as well. In this moment, though, as Alina is doing this, what are the rest of you doing within this space? Billy, for you actually, there's a lot of feelings happening here.
Mm-hmm.
You watched Ori yet again take the final shot against a hag.
Yeah,
Damn, I'm getting pretty good at this.
you really are.
And there's a lot of disappointment coming from that.
So much disappointment.
But even worse than that
Oh no.
is the voice in the back of your mind that says, "You You've been such a good girl, Billy. You're almost done. And then nothing.
Billy's gonna kind of like stalk around a little bit and try and like see if there's this like thing watching anywhere or
Make a
dog.
perception check.
Fuck are you?
Are there any remains of the slain hag?
You go over to this. Make an investigation check. Yeah, you do find it. As the invisibility goes off and the fairy fire kind of flitters away, you can see a very mundane, very ugly, very smelly looking corpse.
30.
Very nice.
Sorry, investigation. That's not a 30. That's 26.
26.
So
With a 26, you do find something clutched in their cold, dead hands. These two large hag hands are enclosed around a cracked black gem. This is something that I believe that you have all seen before. This is something that is called a heartstone.
Heartstone.
This one is cracked, and so you'd imagine probably will not last a terribly long time. But you don't really know too much about this kind of stuff, Ori.
There's one of those heartstones
Billy, with the 23, you look around,
over here, Billy.
and you don't sense any dark dogs or any weird birds, but you feel like something's off. You feel like you've been here before. You feel a sense of familiarity that is almost unnerving, but you're in a demiplane. You've never been to this exact place before. With a 23, you feel like you're missing something.
Damn. Like maybe 2 points higher might have gotten me some more stuff.
Hard to say. But in this moment, Ori kind of breaks your attention and calls you over and gestures towards the hag's clutched hands.
Sorry. Is it
The Heartstone is the same thing that was in the Ice Devils, whatchamacallit, right? That's the same kind of magic where we had to put the two halves together.
No, the Heartstone is something that you would know night hags are traditionally in possession of. It's something that allows them to be ethereal and still do all these different things. The one, because it is cracked, likely won't last long, but whoever owns it will probably have some very similar capabilities. Now, Billy, as you look at it, very often when you take powers from a hag, there's price associated with it, even if that hag is no longer alive. So just something to keep in mind.
So do we crush it, or that guy might be able to do it? He's pretty creepy. I think it might be one of those reflections.
You just stab the stone? Okay.
Is that what?
1 second here.
Is that effective?
We're gonna find out.
That's how Billy deals with ghost problems.
Stabbing is generally an effective strategy. So
Billy,
far.
you go and you stab this heartstone. It looks like a gem, but when you slam this metal into it, it shatters like glass. And you hear this awful... and it just echoes off and in the space.
Does that count for you? I feel like that was really that felt like the death knell. that that was the death gasp, but that was after you made the killing blow.
Or he's like, you really did do it, Billy. Good job. Oh, look, it's dying.
I know where you trance.
I'm really trying, I'm sorry.
Billy looks to see if she can pick it too.
Okay. I would say with no real trouble, you can wrench a tooth out of this mouth if you really want.
Gross.
Oh. A souvenir?
In case she comes back.
I figured with the... that wasn't likely, but I guess I've seen...
Do you think
Stranger
a heartstone
Things.
is a hag's heart?
No, but I figured that it sounded like what I imagine I sound like when I've died. After the...
So star spawn.
What's Billy smiling and thinking about right now?
I mean, you don't
Getting
need a super
creepily-
high intelligence check to put 2 and 2 together. You're talking about the time that you died, and Billy seems to like it. You just took Billy's kill.
Well, star spawn.
Yes.
And Billy just like walks away and like slaps Tori on the shoulder.
And Alina comes up to you as well, Ori, and she looks at you and she says, "That didn't take long at all." And she walks straight past you and kind of shoulder bumps you just a tiny little bit. Not like an aggressive amount, but like a little aggressive. Catches up, pronks over to Billy. You all turning and returning from whence you came?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay. The hunters follow you as you make your way out of the space. Billy, as you leave, you turn around again. You feel like there is something meaningful to what has transpired here for you. But whatever that is, lost to you.
Oh shit, maybe we just killed a potential now.
And you step beyond and back into the material plane, where you are now back on the Starburn pastures.
Maybe they were the anti-coven.
You walk over to the cart, and as you do, you
Mine
can
is the
see
anti-coven.
the satyr sort of like stops all of you and says, "Before we go on too long, thank you all for your help. Do you want our assistance?"
Probably not.
You did good. And with your numbers, you might consider returning.
They look at each other, and the leader, the satyr, nods, and he says, "I feel that now that we've earned our mark, the next time that we take a long rest, we'll be better for it."
I do think that when you sleep on it, you truly will rise in the estimation of the world.
They nod, and they say, "We'll make for Uhex, and though it is still several months away, that is where we intend to cross back into the Feywild."
Uhex. Tell me, do you often travel through Uhex?
Not often, only once before. But that's where we were able to make a deal to get Sir Nunez's mark. And with that, we'll be able to serve some of the covens of Uhex as well.
And tell me, which coven elder did you make a deal with?
They look a little bit confused at that, and they say, "What do you mean, elder?"
Well, sometimes there's hierarchies within the covens.
Certainly.
There's always the one that's a little bit more eloquent than the others.
The Presidia, yes. The Presidia that we spoke to was a member of the Feywild Coven. I'm not sure of her name specifically. Do you know of the covens of Uhex? Are you a politician?
No, just small town only.
They nod. And they say, "Well, for many of us, it was the same."
Is that a lie?
Make a insight check. Against
Against-
Billy or against them?
Who are you inciting?
Small town thing. You know more of what's going on. I'm trying to figure out what.
Oh,
Because, like, Ori knows that you are associated with
You've heard-
Uhex and knows.
No,
well-
Ori would know that Billy's not associated with Uhex. Billy asked specifically about, like, Billy kind of like looked confused when hearing that there's a coven governing Uhex.
Right.
So you would know that Billy's confused by that.
Okay.
Billy is fishing.
They would say the Shrimbleshire is sort of backwater, as it were, in the autumnal wood, but we intend to rise up and make something of ourselves in Uhex. And I'm sure you could too.
It's an unusual coven that you yourselves have, no?
They turn and they say, "Well, we're not a coven yet. We haven't purchased a seal, and we need the approval of at least 2 currently existing covens. But soon, yes."
Well, after this, hopefully that's a bit easier.
Maybe have you had any interactions with others? So smaller towns like yourselves.
They
Have you
turn
been to gatherings?
and they say, no, we all met just a few months ago. Is there other gatherings that we could go to?
I would wait. And like Billy changes her appearance a little bit and gets a little bit more purpley, a little bit more haggy.
The orc just goes, yeah, no, that seems like a good idea. We'll wait. We'll get stronger.
And Billy wants to just quick once over all three of them for Mark.
Okay, I'll say this is an Arcana check.
While that's happening, I want to ask, you'd mentioned something about Starspawn. Do you know anything about what we might be dealing with?
I know a bit, the satyr says. What was that check?
That's a 17.
With the 17, you don't see any... You actually do note there is this sort of faint glow to this mark that Alina just put on all of them. That's something that is not hag related. It's almost certainly of the archface or Nunos. You don't see anything that would indicate a hag mark on one of these three.
You mentioned the mark, though.
They turn to Ora, then they turn back to you, and they say, yes.
Is this the only one? Surely there are others. From the Presidium.
Well, maybe?
I need to check for when I go back to mine. Just so that we're aware of who makes contact with who. It's political.
Okay. What do you need to check?
Do you have a mark from the Presidium?
Oh, no. Like I said, we need to earn approval.
You said a deal was required.
Yes.
Usually there is some sort of mark associated with a deal.
What? We'll sign the contract?
I see. Good luck.
Thank you.
I would read the contract thoroughly.
Well, we will. Like I said, there's other members of our group, and not all of us are hunters. Some of us are quite well read. In fact, Kentley is not currently with us. They're a bit traumatized from the experiences here, but they speak 3 languages.
Is UHEX a place that you can't go to unless you've been there before? So someone has to take you there?
No, UHEX is a place that appears during the autumnal months. In the material plane, you're thinking of Epiphany.
Okay.
Which is a fantastic name for a city that you can't visit unless you've been there before.
And you had said?
I had asked what they knew about what we could potentially be encountering, because they seem to have known a lot about Starspawn.
So he turns back to you and he says, I can tell you what we've learned based on those that we've encountered, but they're all different. There are some that are smaller. You might confuse them for demons or devils or something like that. They have horns, they have wings, they have those little forked tails, but they have no face. They have no insides. And they seem to feast on joy itself. We call them joy thieves for that reason. And then there's Threshmaws. I don't know that they're necessarily star spawn, but they have similar capabilities. They are more plant-based, and they seem to be a bit more defensive. If you see one and you give it a wide berth, you should be okay. And then there's a much larger one. I don't know what this is called, but it is horrifying and quite large.
Where did you see that one?
So they kind of get, and at this point you guys have all reached the cart. They would say, well, if you follow this path, and they kind of point to an area that's almost like a game trail. It's just a clearing between trees, but it does vaguely wind to the northeast. They point off in that direction, and they say, keep going. By about an hour away, you really can't miss it. But these places, they shift and they change. And there is worse even than the star spawn out here. There is the shadow of a powerful dragon.
Yes.
You mean what's the festival?
Doxel Grosh.
Wissifissif.
Doxel Grosh, the Imperial Fang of Brethel.
Yes, what's That's what I said.
You both say the exact same thing.
Nobody said anything about dragons.
Actually, yes, he did. Specifically, Kyberius said something about a blue dragon's shadow.
Well, Narcadian did,
Narcadian.
and then I did.
Mentioned the dragon when we were
Divine
out in
Court
the
members that we had
woods.
interacted with.
The shiny beacon guy.
Oh, okay.
But he nods and he says, yes. And we haven't seen it, we haven't heard it, but that is the thing to be the most afraid of.
Well, it's a good thing that we are after the star spawn, I guess. But we do need to move quickly.
Yes, yes.
We wish you good luck in your travels.
They
Hope we
nod.
cross paths again.
They nod and they say, and we hope to as well. Thank you again. And each of them has like a little bit more of an extended goodbye with Alina. But if there's nothing else that you want to say, they make their way off to the east.
Stay safe.
Read thoroughly.
They nod and they say, you said that already. Wait,
Do it again.
She's got a thing about contracts. Just
they
be
nod.
careful.
And you could hear as they murmur, like as they walk away, they're kind of murmuring like, just because I only speak one language. And like they make their way off into the east. But
Sorry.
you all now have the cart. Are you continuing following this path that they laid out for you?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay. Valis, are you driving the cart?
Unless anyone else wants
I could
to
do
drive
if
it, I
you
will
want,
drive.
But I can be lookout.
I'll drive. He'll look out.
There you go.
You'll drive, you'll look out. Go
I'll
ahead
sulk.
and roll a D100
Who? Me?
for whoever's driving the
That's
cart.
not worse
Oh, okay.
when you do it.
One day you'll get to kill something.
51.
Patronizing.
I was going for comforting. Maybe we'll get there one day.
There are
So on the
51
front, I'm gonna
That
like
actually makes me feel better.
Whisper to Ori, hey Ori, I think Billy really wanted to kill that
I didn't think it was going to die that quickly.
Okay, well, just wanted to let you know in case you
Of
didn't
course I knew.
catch the vibes.
I got the vibes, Valis. You've come so far.
Valis, you drive the cart and you make your way, leaving this path behind you, following the path the hunters laid out before you. The woods kind of left in your wake, the plant life dies down, and again you find yourself in open fields, and it's darker here. And the grass gets a little bit less kind of populous and becomes a little bit sparser and becomes much more stony. And here, off and to the right, you do catch sight, Valis, of a place where there is little bits of mist kind of draped amongst the elements of the stonework. And the mist has bits of faint, almost pearlescence to it in places. It's beautiful off and to the side. And then, all at once, maybe 300 feet away, you see this of like a geyser that just goes off, and then off in the distance, another one and another. There is a field of geysers off and to the right. You have not wandered into that. But instead, the path before you is a little bit easier. And you roll along in your cart, passing by this sort of field.
Way to avoid the geysers.
As you're going, you could have very easily spent the next hour traveling through this field. And I would say for those of you who see the kind of pearlescence, there is something unnatural to that mist.
Oh shit.
As the fog explodes out of the ground from these geysers, there is something that is mysterious. And you're very grateful for Valis leading this cart in a different direction. An hour passes by.
were we able to bypass that because we were following the trails that the guys before us told us, or did that not?
That's a part of it. That narrowed. So I have this like table, and every time that you roll on it, you set a stage in this progression. That part of the table is closed, and then that expands in one of the directions to the next section to make that section larger. You've taken decent chunks of the bad things away
I'm so proud of us.
by experiencing them.
With our face?
But You did manage to bypass an entire encounter, and for this particular one, you are getting to walk by something that you would have almost certainly rolled into had these hunters not expanded this by 10 more points.
Still
Nice.
no.
Hunter
Still
good.
see the star shard.
Barely.
Okay, so we're almost there.
There is atmospheric kind of disturbances here, and so you can't quite make it out clearly. It feels
Guys are
darker
missing
for sure.
stuff. Okay.
Keep an eye out, alright?
I think we're getting close.
When we can't see the shard and it feels colder, then we may be in its
I think we're getting
domain.
close. I'm keeping an eye out.
Keep an eye a little bit further in your head.
Yeah. You continue to walk.
But that's in.
You continue to drive this cart. And as you were making your way through Valis, right around 4:30 in the morning, you're getting close to the end of this evening, to the end of the window in which you would be able to find this. You see off and to your right this lump that is brightly colored. It couldn't possibly be just plant life. It is bright red. It is a cloak draped across a body. Humanoid, certainly. Are you doing anything with that?
I will. How far is it?
Probably like 15 feet off this path.
Oh, okay. I'll start, and I will say, and I'll hand the reins over. Hold on, I think I see possibly a victim of our quarry. So I'm gonna go over and investigate the body.
You walk over to the body, and before you even make an investigation check, you know they're dead. Because you can see the interior of the skull through where the face is missing. There is just jagged, broken bits of bone and scraps of skin that have been like torn away and extend out from this hollow, almost bull-like face now. There is no brain within the space. There is no kind of interior organs. Those are just clean gone. And as you look, it is still like there is still wet blood on the ground here.
Okay. Does any of its stuff look magical?
Make an Arcana check.
Ah, yes, the paladin, he of good light and truth.
Natural 20.
Ooh, shiny shit!
There is nothing magical on this individual.
Damn.
This person seemed to have been just like a traveler, wearing pretty bright clothing, and their face is gone.
We had heard something about something that takes people's faces, hadn't we? Or am I just making that shit up?
We found bodies.
I think the Droid Thieves didn't have faces. I don't remember if they take faces, but we were told to find the broken bodies of the
Yeah, I
victims of
guess
our
this
quarry.
would technically count as a broken body.
Does it feel colder?
Does this feel like the remains of, yeah.
Does what feel colder?
Well, I think
The
we were also
atmosphere?
told that when we find the
When it
atmosphere.
gets colder,
It has.
darker,
At first,
yeah.
you thought maybe just because of the mists off and
But
to the
it's
right
like-
that was more what was causing it, but certainly a little bit colder. And Valis, if you get closer to the body, it gives off no warmth.
We need to keep moving.
Or he
Alright.
feels a shoulder that's particularly cold.
Does anyone? I tell the group that I believe we're on the spa spawn's trail. The body seems to have been killed recently. Go ahead.
How long has it been since we started, or since we left the hunters?
It's been close to about 4.5 hours, close to 5 hours. You're really close to the end of your window.
Oh shit! Wait, so we've been traveling already for like 5 more hours since we just.
We started at midnight. It's about 4:30. You said.
Yeah. So about
Wow.
4.5 hours. You also, for what it's worth, are very close to exhaustion.
Yeah.
You're probably about a half an hour away from that. And you're just now beginning to find these broken bodies. You are seeing it is getting increasingly dark up ahead.
We still get 4 hours, right? Trans
Dasher's
babies.
gonna need
Yeah.
a nappy nap.
We have to get there soon, or else we're gonna miss the chance.
Wow.
You whip these horses, and there is brief hesitation, but they do comply. And you make your way further into the darkness. Valis, after 10 more minutes, you see the first signs of relatively dramatic change because you see man-made structures. You see little, just corners of what at one point may have been houses or buildings, just ruins that are kind of spreading out in front of you. There are old trees that have since grown through these rocks and then died to become just broken bits of wood here and there.
Is this Brethel? The ruins of this town?
Make a history check.
Do I get my thing?
No?
Natural 20.
With a natural 20, the fact that you did not get your thing, and Brethel was at one point in the Magiocracy, should tell you that you are not in Brethel.
Okay.
This is someplace else entirely.
Okay.
Or you look up and you no longer see the star. You look up and you no longer see the astral
the
eclipse.
The shard, yeah.
Okay.
You don't see the astral eclipse overhead. You just see swirling clouds of darkness.
I think we found it.
What?
Oh.
That's bad, right?
Billy, you've looked up at a similar sky before. And you remember a long time ago, maybe up on a ship, where you had felt a similar chilling cold calling to you from beyond a closed door, or beyond an open door that you closed.
That's bad. It's bad.
You look up and you see the sky of the Shadowfell directly overhead.
This is bad.
Uh-oh. Could this... So, our star spawn...
Ahead of you, amongst the ruins of the buildings that you can see, 3 or 4 of them now, kind of gathered amongst the wood and the stone, you do see first 1, then 2, and then 3 bodies kind of draped over window frames. You see one bunched into a corner, kind of tucked up against some barrels. You are seeing more than one broken body now.
Billy wants to do a little bit of like a look-see for anything that was present the last time we were in the Shadowfell.
Okay, make a perception check.
These bodies, they don't seem to be, like we've seen some dragon and draconic creatures doing damage.
Sure.
They don't seem like they've been attacked by a dragon.
Make a medicine
type,
check.
Right?
With a 22, in this moment as you're sort of like looking around, suddenly realizing that you're in this place, you don't see any of the figures that you have seen before. You don't see any shadows departing or any other kind of entities that may be following you from a previous adventure. At least not yet.
9.
But this is a cold place here in the Shadowfell, and any bits of warmth are likely to attract attention. For you, with a 9, you look around, you consider this, and it was either a dragon or old age, or maybe a ghost, or maybe a troll. It could also be goblins or kobolds. You can't rule out disease, poison, potentially genetic issues.
Damn. It could have been anything.
Billy lets like points outside and gets like Cheshire to.
What's outside?
What am I looking at?
Okay.
You are outside.
Yeah, you
We're
gaze
inside.
kind of out and into the space that is the Shadowfell. You see darkness and dreariness and cold stone and dead plants all around you.
Hey, we've been there.
You see a few corpses kind of scattered here and there. And that's what you see. Make a perception check, Cheshire.
How far away are the corpses?
The closest one from where you've stopped is about 40 feet, and that's where the first kind of house is. They are draped over a ruined wall or kind of window frame.
19?
With a 19, you really focus your vision as sharply as you can, and that's really all you see. You can see there is sort of like the remnants of roads, little bits of civilization still left here, but the Shadowfell has largely reclaimed it.
And I think maybe I have a way to get us out.
I think maybe it's time to get off and go on foot if we're entering this creature's hunting grounds.
Then we risk leaving the carriage and not being able to get it when we come back.
I meant take it with us, but
We can't.
If you guys want to speak up on that side of the table too.
Twah!
We've
Wow.
already taken it out of the way.
You whip the reins.
And when at least 2 of those corpses are within 60 feet, I want a divine sense.
speak with dead as we go by.
You send out this divine sense. It waves through the space. And this town is truly dead not undead. These are just corpses.
Damn.
But as you draw within range and you look at them closer, they're wet.
Like with blood.
Yeah. And one of them apple juice, but the rest blood for sure.
To kill the thing, so let's go kill the thing.
You pass the area where there is these kind of stone
We're on
walls.
high alert looking for any
You're on
sign of
high alert.
star spawn.
And Ori, with you on high alert, with even your passive perception, though not so passive at the moment, you hear in the distance a low moan. And at first it sounds like somebody just tired or in pain, but it rises from a low moan that may come from a humanoid voice to a much louder one, and then that rises even more. And Ori, somewhere off in the distance, there is something big.
God damn it, that's probably the fucking dragon.
But you progress onwards.
Wait,
Does it seem like it's coming towards us?
It seems like you are going towards it.
do I can I try to perceive if it could be like the low rumbles of Doxel Grosh? Or is there a way for me to discern whether it's more likely to be the Star Spawn or Doxel Grosh in this
Make
situation?
a flat intelligence check.
How many dragon calls?
You've
have you
never
in
heard a
your
dragon
life?
before, so that's what
We've
that's
heard
why
wyverns.
that's
so I'm
not a
guessing,
dragon.
like,
That's a
basing
beast.
it
That's
off
a
of-
whole
yeah.
different thing. It's not like chickens, actually.
Yeah. Flat intelligence. The roll is not good because that's a 5
Red.
The
total.
5 hard to tell. It sounds like a
Could be a-
being of some sort, but massive.
Could be the dragon. I don't know. I'm too dumb.
Now, Valis, as you are driving this cart, it is really up to you to keep the cart safe. So go ahead and make a perception check
Oh boy.
as you head into the final leg of your journey.
Malice, what do your elf eyes say?
Can I assist by
Yeah, you
looking?
have to do.
with
Yeah, make
my
this at
elf eyes
advantage.
and being like, look out.
All right. So what does a
Alice, your elf eyes see this.
the first roll was really good. The second roll was a natural one. So, but 26.
Nice.
With the 26, you barely have gotten started again when off and to the right within the kind of ruins you are aware of a shape that moves. And the moan sounded further away, so this really catches you by surprise. It's close. It's no further than 30 feet, and it did not ping your divine sense. It is not undead. But as you turn your attention over, that moan starts up, and now it comes from the correct direction. Then it comes from behind you, then it comes off from your left. It seems as if it seems to be maybe psychic in its abilities. But in this moment, this huge creature with one fist steps out from this thing. And because it is 10 o'clock and a good place to step away, would you like to see
Yeah.
the miniature that you were encountering?
Yeah.
I'm not going to bring
Yeah.
out the whole
Show
encounter
us
map.
the mini! Show us the mini!
There's not so many of it.
Show us the biggie! Ew!
Oh my god.
So you
Ew!
can see
Gross.
crawling with one gigantic
That's
fist
like a
out
fucking titan.
from this sort of entity. It a fist like a primate down on the ground. You can see this huge mouth yawns open with this huge moan. But because it is 10 o'clock, we are going to step away and we will continue our D&D game
Hate
next week.
that
As you
thing.
all begin this very challenging encounter against Jama the Void Gouger.
Jamwa the Void Gouger. That sounds
Thank you
great.
for joining us for this session of Adventures in Alberon Courts of Everest. We will be back next week, but if you can't wait that long, you can join us tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Ace of Roses Season 2. There is a title, but I forgot what it is. We are playing...
I can't say it.
Fair enough. You can join us at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time when we play. After that, you can join us at noon on Sunday for Fallout Black Heart of Texas Session 3. And then, if you're a Patreon subscriber at some point in the next couple of days, you will see Session 0 of Season 2 of Iron and Thorn. There is so much that is going to be happening, but please stay safe. We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.